Landry and Beckham Jr. to the left. He looks to the right, and it is intercepted off the deflection. It is Williams, and he's on the go. K'Wan Williams cutting back to midfield. And he's got this running game working, as you see, with Matt Breida. And look at the speed on Breida. What a way to start it. 83-yard touchdown. Career-long run. 83-yard touchdown.
Overall pick in the draft out of Notre Dame. 2nd and 9. Steps up and down. Fires picked off at the 5-yard line. Intercepted by Ty Matthew. And Matthew all the way back to the 35-yard line. Big pick. 3rd down and 18. Mahomes flushed out again all the way back. Turning the corner. Fires downfield. Caught. Touchdown. Only Mahomes. Byron Pringle. Insta.
Stop it. Stop it. You can't do this. You can't escape. You can't make these plays. You can't make these throws. Patrick Mahomes, just stop it. We haven't seen this. I mean, we've seen Brett Favre. We've seen Aaron Rodgers. We've seen John Elway.
4-man rush. Prescott floats it for Cooper. Hits him in stride. Cooper stays inbound for the touchdown. Wow. Air Alexander one-on-one. I'm a little surprised by the coverage, quite honestly, but he just gets taken to school.
Waldman, he hit the ground looking for a flag. There is none. Run back. And it's a good one by King. He broke one last year against Pittsburgh, and he's going to go the distance. Desmond King, however, a marker is down all the way back at the 40.
One bunched up at the line of scrimmage. Rodgers keeps, steps up, and throws high and caught. And the catch is good by Robert Tonyan.
6-yard attempt. Cox, the snap, Cook, the hold. And the kick is good. Ravens win. Justin Tucker connects. It zags through. Baltimore knocks off Pittsburgh in overtime.
On that last tackle, lost it to Flacco now. Down the field again. Wide open target. There he is. Tony Sutton breaks the tackle. And he's going to take it to the end zone for the touchdown.
Minshew pressure coming. He ducks out of the way. Burns knocks the football free. Haynes recovers. And Marquise Haynes gets up. Marquise Haynes is tackled with a flag down by Armstead. Minshew lost control. And it's the 3rd turnover today by Jacksonville.
Into a kicker penalty on 4th and 1. Now it's 1st and goal at the 2. And here is Jacobs for the touchdown. Raiders lead.
That's a Yamo B there, up and over right there. And look at that. Just a massive unit. Great time. Look out. Hendrick. He took it away. Herman Edwards. Look at him go. There goes Hendrick down the stretch and into the end zone. Touchdown. Watson on 3rd down and 9. Lobs one up to the end zone. It is caught by Darren Fells. His 2nd touchdown today. They're staying aggressive. And what a throw. What a catch. Able to throw with some touch.
Steps up. Bees.
Vikings have put up some big plays. Here's Cousins to the end zone. Thielen with the catch. Touchdown. He went against the rookie DeAndre Baker, and Thielen beat him.
1st and 10 Panthers. Backed up deep. Hand off up the middle. McCaffrey running free. Unbelievable. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 across midfield. Can someone drag him down? 20 to the 15, the 10, the 5. McCaffrey takes it home.
He had the ball for 6.5 minutes. Jackson, tight spiral. A battle. Pittsburgh's got it. Devin Bush just took it away.
Bridgewater steps up, fires from the end zone. Touchdown Saints. Tag in.
Is 0 for 3 on 3rd downs today. Allen looking deep for DJ Moore. Goes up and grabs it. Moore to the 25. He makes the play over A.J. Boye. And a big play for Carolina. A gain of 53.
Minshew is knocked down, picked up by the Panthers, and they're turning it to the left side. This could be a touchdown to the 10, the 5-yard line, into the end zone. Burns, touchdown, Carolina.
2nd and 8. Again, the play fake to Penny. Jones with time, goes for the end zone. It is caught for a touchdown by Darius Slayton. Cousins with time, into the end zone for Thielen. Touchdown. He beat Grant Haley on the play.
Rudolph, fake the handoff. Steps up in the pocket, delivers downfield. It's complete. Juju Smith-Schuster stays upright for the touchdown. The Steelers answer. 4th down and 1. Falk the fake. Here comes the rush, and it's picked off on the play. Coming through, Nathan
2nd and 8 to give. Coming around this side is Steven Sims. And Sims still on the loose and down the sideline. Steven Sims going to go all the way to the end zone. No flag.
Give to McCaffrey. Trying to get around the right side. He does. McCaffrey leaps. End zone. Oh, touchdown. Up and in. Jim McCaffrey.
Great play design by North Turner. If we take a look at the all-22 later, you see he spreads them out. You don't have to block everybody. You just have to remove them. And then at the last minute, where's Superman?
That's right. On first down, Wilson keeps. Surveys, nowhere to go, and back in the end zone. Touchdown! What a catch by Tyler Lockett. Goff throws, pass incomplete for Everett. And now you see it. What an effort by Tedrick Thompson.
That's such a great job by him, keeping it alive. It sure looks to me like that ball's intercepted. And hands to Bonifant, and Bonifan's into the secondary, to the 50, cuts right 40, to the 30, the 20. Can you believe it? Reggie Bonifant scores a touchdown. First and goal from the 5, no score. Handoff goes to McCaffrey, middle crowded, stiff arm takes it to the right, and he leaps and somersaults into the end zone for the touchdown.
What's happening? Welcome back, fantasy players, hustlers, and grinders. Week 5 is over, done, gone, and we are getting closer to that important part of the fantasy season where it's your time to make a run to fulfill your playoff seeding. Hopefully, you're not in a situation like I am where it's a must-win now every week.
Already.
I also hope you've been listening to our advice each week as we've been dropping nuggets. Hope you've been able to pick up a few. If you haven't, the good thing is your favorite 2 gangsters of the gridiron are back. We're here live for week 6, and we are
serving it up hot.
That's right, baby. We are. And in case you didn't know, I'm your host, as always, Mr. Black State Moan, Reggie Nobles.
Ooh, a.k.a. the real estate potentate.
A.k.a. my brother from another mother.
Oh, I appreciate that, Blake. And with me, as always, is my bluegrass boasting sidekick. If you see him in the street, you better cross the road because he will rob you. He is my man. I'm safe as always because that's the pinhead, a.k.a. the side straddle strangler.
A.k.a. Mr. Weird with a kick-ass beard.
All right.
Welcome, Pinhead. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome, man. And with us, as always, checking the facts and giving us the stats. It's that troublemaker that you love to hate. His team remains defeated and they're on the screen, but for no reason today's stat does that give you reason to interrupt me while I'm talking. But nonetheless, we love him, man. He is my man. He's got a heart of gold and a silver tongue. He is Stat G, a.k.a. I told y'all Daniel Jones was going to be that dude.
A.k.a. the creepy Joaquin Phoenix.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, man. Well, gentlemen, thanks, man, for making it out tonight, man. As always, we promise to make this show the best ever. Is what we try to do each and every week, and I think it's going to be a great one. Your lineup today, we're going to cover some crazy news from around the globe, hopefully make you giggle, make you smile. Updates from the sports world. I told you so. We got JayP joining us again for Blurred Lines after that tragic week he had last week, 1-1-1. Yeah, he tied, he pushed. And then we got last week picks. They're in. I screwed the pooch last week. I think I lost the league. I hadn't seen the stats, but I had that feeling. And then we got some studs and duds for your week 6. And as always, there may be a dark cloud sighting. Ooh, all right, man. So, man, let's start this thing up. Let's serve it up hot with some crazy news. All right, let's look no further than Missouri. And we didn't get a chance to show me state, man. Hey, so a bar in Missouri has this unusual bar model. I thought this was really cool when I read this. So they're, instead of charging customers by the drink, they're charging them by the hour.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It's like,
I ain't got to say no more, right?
I've never thought about that before.
You're in. So the bar's name is the Open Concept, and they're charging customers by the hour and they have like these drink packages, right? And most of them average about $10. But you get like a limited number of drinks, so I guess whatever package you buy. It sounds kind of cool. At this bar, they say we don't sell drinks, we sell time. And I think that's like, yo, if you ever worked in the bar industry, this is like
That's pretty cool. What what does it cost? Do you have any of the
Nah, it didn't
specs?
go. It just said, it was average about $10 an hour.
And you just could drink?
You can just drink, but you think
I'd wear their ass out
not
at $10 an hour.
Yeah, but if you
Every drink I get's $10. A double captain's $10.
How many are you going to drink though?
I can drink 2 an hour all day. I can drink 3 an hour. Easy.
For how many hours?
2.
For 2 hours?
Yeah.
And so you'll be $20, 40.
Yeah, I'll wear their ass out.
You probably would.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I'm gonna at least try.
Yeah, man.
It's like it's better than usually it's pool by the hour.
Right.
No,
You'd have to be a dummy to drink beer there, wouldn't you?
I don't know, man. That's. I mean, depending on the setting and the audience. Like if they did it at the tavern, I wouldn't change my drinking habits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't go there to get slaughtered. like
I'm gonna make this
I got
pay.
$10 and 59 minutes, man, and I'm going in.
I need 8
Pretty
doubles.
much.
I'm grown now, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think young men, college students will fall into the trap real quick, man. You can serve them like red shenanigans in about an hour. You know what I mean?
I think it'd be cool if it was like bartender option, where you could say like, "Sir, you've been here nursing this beer for quite some time. I'm putting you on the hourly rate." And that's the way.
Right. Right. So if you don't hit a minimum of drinks, it's $10.
Right. The clock is ticking.
Right. That could be a better way to look at it, a better way to sell time. And then you sell the fun. You sell like all of the other stuff. So like even if you're not pounding them, buddy, you're still gonna give me $10 an hour.
Time is money. They call the bar time is money. And if you drink enough, then your time is free.
Right.
That's a good idea.
But if not, your time costs.
That's pinhead logic. I love it.
It sounds like a new business venture we should do here in North Carolina.
Hey, man.
Count me in.
Yes, sir.
Man. So they serve food 2 days a week, Taco Tuesday, and then they have a brunch on Sunday. Any other time you can deliver food. So there's really not a whole lot of food costs there.
With unlimited drinks, you have to serve food.
I don't know, man.
No, you
Or somebody would die.
popcorn, something. You got to get
some snacks. Didn't say anything about bar snacks, man. So anyway, man, you can call in if you're ever out in Missouri. The name of that bar is The Open Concept, and coming soon to K Vegas in a shopping center near you is going to be Nobles and Pinheads. You're on the clock.
You're on the clock.
You're on the clock, baby.
I like it, man. Have shot clocks everywhere and stuff like that.
Sports theme, but also with
anything that has to do with time. Like you'll see here, like, well, maybe not a starter's pistol.
Yeah,
that might be bad, but like definitely a bell ring,
sure.
For like a boxing match.
Right.
Anything that signals time, that would be great.
Yeah, man. Think of
if somebody starts going real slow, you could wave like the white flag, like 1 to go. You got 1 second to go, man, and that's it, or else it's gonna be over.
That's it.
You're on the time.
You're on time.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd like that. We don't have bartenders, we have timekeepers. The official timekeeper. I need to speak to the official timekeeper.
The timekeeper. That's a great name for it.
Can I get another drink? Go check with the timekeeper.
It's the timekeeper, man. I like it, man. So, let's move over to the Midwest in Arizona, where an unnamed man got pissed off at his neighbors from stumping on the floor. There, he's banging on the ceiling. Pissed enough, he went up, he talked with them about 11:20. He returns back to his apartment. They're still stumping. He fires 3 shots
into his ceiling?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Somehow, he shot himself in the face.
Oh, wow.
So,
I feel like he deserved that, though.
I think you do.
I don't even feel
Just
bad.
have this burning need to know this guy's name now. I don't know why.
It never gives his name. It says this was in Arizona, man. He banged on the door at one point, and then
The face.
they I guess they wouldn't open the door, and he goes home and he racks off 3, and one of them caught him, dude. One caught himself in his face, man, and last reported he's in critical condition.
Not funny.
Yeah. He was transported to the hospital that morning,
man.
And last
Bless his
reported
heart.
he's in extremely critical conditions, according to the Arizona Republic. So
the second dude I know that
the irony here, no one else was injured.
That's good stuff, though.
Oh, it's great stuff,
Yeah,
man.
that's
That's
excellent,
great
man.
stuff, man.
Wow, that guy.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, here real quick on the coast, man. I don't know if you guys seen this thing. It's been trending all over social media. And I know most of you got two guys specifically sitting with me, don't really do much. I think you use the face box every now and then.
I'm on that face box.
Did y'all see the unidentified lights in the Outer Banks?
I did not.
You didn't see that? I'll pull up a picture for it real quick, man. If you allow me, and show you guys, man, and tell me what you think.
And you mentioned that bar that where you buy time that had a brunch. They're going to have a brunch at the Century Park Tavern this week for the Carolina Panthers game. The bar open at 9 o'clock, and going to have drink specials and Bloody Mary bar and some good eats. So if you're up and about and want to watch football that early, then go to the tavern.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll be there as always, man, representing and rooting on the Carolina Football Panthers. We had a good week last week, man, at Paw Paws, man. And then after the game, if you didn't make it up for the Jacksonville game, man, you missed a damn good time. That was the last news story I had. Basically, it was a couple guys on the beach, man, and they were on a boat in the middle of nowhere.
Was it like, I mean, are they moving and stuff, or do these guys have a report on this? And I like nothing more than UFOs and weird things.
Pick.
I want to believe in UFOs, but I don't. I'm a skeptic. I clearly believe in UFOs, unidentified flying. I don't believe there's aliens just spying on us and scooping us up, putting things in our butts. I just don't believe that. And they've been doing that for how many decades? Haven't they learned all they can learn from our butts?
So this is what it
Is that the story? They get us.
So
and
I'm
put
gonna
things
pass
in
The
us?
anal probe. Yes, that's what. Have you not heard? You don't know? Yes, everybody. I thought everybody knew about that.
Probing
Some
it
report
like-
that it's the best part.
I've seen it in parodies like South Park and crap like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So look, check that out.
Oh, let's see. UFOs spotted off NC's Outer Banks. Oh yeah, some crazy looking lights. It looks what the hell is that? Yeah, well, everybody check that out.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it looks. It's
So they're
it's
like
like
on
a cluster of lights.
Yeah, it's a cluster of lights. They're on a boat, and I mean, there's like no land or anything around it. Oh, pick off.
Damn.
You know, that is something else.
Yeah.
We
So,
just
So
got the
everybody
pick.
look out. I don't think we're prepared for that
He's gone.
here in North Carolina.
this is what's gonna help me cover the over. So, well, hey, man, we're gonna move over to the world of sports, man, and talk a little bit of round ball, man. Did you guys get a chance to catch that Bulls Pelicans game last night?
I
saw
did get to watch a good
some
bit of it.
Yep.
Oh, Zion looked pretty good, man. At what, 29?
29, man.
12
They
out
on,
of 13.
12 out of
Yeah.
13 layups.
yeah, he can make those all day, man.
Hey, and I ain't hating. I ain't
No.
hating. If you can't stop me, I'm gonna do it, right?
All
Yeah.
day. The one he missed rolled off the front.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that he's going to be able to do that
I
for
think-
a while.
Yeah.
I
I think
mean-
until the play picks up and gets a little more intense, maybe.
Yeah, and until teams scheme for him, that too. He's going to have some help.
Ball looks good. Whichever ball is Alonzo. He looked
Yeah.
okay. I mean, he's doing what we already thought he could do, which is pass the ball. He's never had an issue with that, and his shot doesn't look as crooked or crazy or whatever the hell he had going on, like that east to west crap. You know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah.
straight up.
I don't.
Crap.
I still think that team's going to go as far as Drew Holiday can take them. They've got to have solid play from that position because he can shoot. And Ball, you really don't want him. You don't want him to be a high volume shooter for sure.
I think
But-
he'll be better here, though, without the spotlight of L.A.
Probably so. I would think so.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of pressure here. Young team going to grow together.
Yeah. I would still love to see the kid in a bigger market, and I mean, I think he'll have a great career, but I can actually see him wanting to be in a bigger market, say in 4 or 5 years.
Well, sure.
That's the kind of way that the league is kind of grown to be, though, right? It's not like what it was when you and I grew up, where players, play for teams, man. Like everybody's so close because of AAU ball and the way that they come into college and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different from the days of the old.
Well, it is different, man. That's the truth. I'm just, I'm happy that the kids so far is, I got to believe, exceeding the hype. I mean, when was the last time they had 10,000 plus at a Pelicans practice?
Practice.
know.
Zion.
I mean,
See,
I got to believe never. And as good a player as Anthony Davis is, and he's as good as there is, man, the best player on earth.
Yeah.
He really is fantastic. He's not a draw like that.
No,
I mean, he's just not.
He's a phenom, man.
is?
Right.
I mean, he's got
That's
that.
what- yeah.
He's got that height, man. That the last that we've seen it was LeBron. I don't think he's LeBron. I think he's a different player. No shot against him. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I think it, it kind of warrants like kind of the Shaq type of excitement because, like, you know what I'm saying? Something we've
Yeah.
never seen before.
Right. You're
You
like,
know what I mean?
this dude is liable to crush somebody at any point, you know?
Right. I mean, he's got such a big frame.
And it's hard not to like him. It's hard not to pull
He seems
for
like
him.
to be a good kid.
And he's got a $1 million smile, man.
Yeah, he took a pay cut to come to the league. I mean, you got to admire that.
Oh yeah, right.
A little shot fired, just a little
Yeah,
shot
yeah,
fired.
yeah.
I gotta throw my shade a little bit. Nah, but I'm excited for the kid, man. I hope that he does well in his league and gives us a lot of good things to talk about in the future, man. As he, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, I agree
posterizes
with you,
some
man.
kids, man.
I want to do a whole ACC breakdown podcast. Let's do one. We'll put a poll up on the Facebooks. Everybody that follows us on there, and we'll say would you be interested in a Nobles and Pinhead basketball podcast, just like a season preview?
Well, we actually have been talking about that. I've been talking with Jason on that. We actually spoke on that today, man. And I definitely would like to do that in a couple weeks, man. So let's work on that. Work on making that a reality, man.
Well, I would try not to team up with Jason against you.
Hey,
He might pull for Florida State, though.
I mean, he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys, man. Now, I am not afraid to take you guys on. I mean, we will try to keep it objective as possible. Anyway, man, enough on Mr. Zion's, man. I believe that takes us right over. Let's switch it up here, Stat. Let's talk about last week's picks because I kind of want to see what I did last week before I go into
I'm afraid to see how I did.
I am kind of too, man. I don't feel like I did good. Last week I came in this thing feeling confident about my picks. This week I was kind of.
I thought that the Bucks were going to pull it off for me against the Saints, and I'd have picked up a game. They played really well.
They played really well.
They did. They just didn't win, you know.
So last week,
All right.
here we go. I was 8-7, Nobles 7-8, and Pinhead was actually 9-6.
Hey.
Okay.
Overall, 47-30 me, 48-29 Nobles, 44-31 Pinhead.
Oh, so I stank it up last week and kept I still got a step on y'all?
You was up by 2, so I got one back on you.
Hey, man, a step is a step, man. That's all I need,
Exactly,
man.
I stepped up one. I'm
Yeah,
almost
no
there.
doubt, man. I'm like Tiger, though. When you get close, man, you're going to hear me roar. I'm just going to pull away, man. Last week I went on some limbs, man. I thought the Giants were going to play a little bit better than they played against the Vikings, and I didn't think Kirk Cousins was going to play as good as he played.
You know who didn't play well? The Browns.
Well,
Jeez.
I'll say it every episode until I'm blue in the face. Until they prove they're not the Browns, they're still the Browns.
They're the Browns.
They're the Browns, man.
They really are, man.
Well, good people, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. I don't know what else I've got to do to get my point across. I mean, like I said, when I'm right, I'm right. And just like your mama, when I'm wrong, I'm right. Man, my confidence level, guys, is at an all-time high, and my morale is clicking in the green. 2 words, 1 name, Alden Tate. I told you last week if you were looking for a bye-week receiver to fill in the slot that this guy would do. Now let's take my talents down to the Lone Star State, where you'll find my man Will Fuller cooking it up in the kitchen, making me look like a genius after having a monster day and a week 5 best performance for all receivers. And there's no shock here, but the Panthers are the real deal. And my boy CMC, or C-Mac, as I like to call him, got loose. You see the numbers. What more can I say about the legacy? MVP. I told you last week to start Philly D and they'd have a top 3 performance. I still like my 2 Stallions. That's right, the young Broncos galloped into fantasy relevance again last week. Lindsey and Sutton are becoming must plays every week, and you heard it here first. But last and certainly not least, go DJ. That's right, that's my DJ Chark, that is. He is a player in the league, and as long as the porn stash is at the ham, he's going to continue to put up those numbers. I love this kid. LSU has put some studs into the league, and he is definitely one. So listen to your boy this week, as I may just drop another stunner.
I like DJ. He's a nice boy.
Hey, man, he's had
some big games.
Yeah, man, he's top. I think he's number 3 receiver or number 2 or 3.
Yeah, he's in the top 5.
Yeah, man. So
all right, so
let's set up this week. Let's set up this week. Let's start with tonight's game. They're Sugar Nuts.
Giants and Patriots.
Well, Duke's Daniel Jones doesn't really have a whole lot to work with on this team. Almost everybody's hurt, and both sides of the ball. Pretty much, you got to believe the Patriots are better at every spot. Be crazy to do anything else. I've Pats by 100.
Pats by 100. Actually, I played a parlay. Pats plus 17 or minus 17. I'm sorry. I just don't see any way that New York can do anything. I mean, this game hadn't produced any points now, but we've seen the Patriots throw up points rather quick this season, early in the game. So nothing crazy here, man. If you got a Patriot player, I wouldn't be afraid to play him. And when you listen to it, it's just too late, so I'm not going to beat that horse. But yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Who you like in this one, Stat?
I think I'm gonna go with the Pats. They're 11-0 against.
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
They're 11-0 against rookie quarterbacks, and
you had to throw out that stat for the Giants. We knew they're gonna pound this team. They're a 17-point favorite.
They might be, but it's 0-0, and it's been unproductive thus far.
Nah, I'm sorry, Stat, man. We know you love the guys. I just had to bust your chops there, bro.
Always.
No reason, though, to bring up the rookie quarterback. That's just rubbing it in our face.
What sucks is he played at Duke. That's the only positive. Other than that, I hope they lose every fucking game.
Well, we know how you feel about the G-Man.
Next game, Panthers at Tampa from London.
Well, y'all already knew before you asked. We've actually lost the last 2 out of 3 in this matchup, but none more about it than a touchdown. And when we win pretty big. I think we won by 2 touchdowns the last time. I think it was 2018 in November. So we're in London. They shouldn't have beat us the first time. I think we're a better team than we were because we have a healthy quarterback. I love the Panthers. I don't think you want to do anything as far as fantasy tricky in this game. Start your usual suspect. Jameis has been playing well as of late. He's the number 8 quarterback. I can see him getting about a 24-point game. I mean, if we look and see what Minshew did, I think he's a hair better than Minshew and definitely has better receivers or a tandem of better receivers and tight ends. So nothing crazy fantasy-wise, man. Play Greg Olsen if you got Greg Olsen. If you're trying to buy a cheap tight end. And, I mean, do we need to talk about CMC?
Yeah, if you're not starting him by now, something's wrong.
Right. You're trying to be cute.
You're not good.
Yeah, you're going to lose.
You're not good.
He's just been unstoppable, but I'm stubborn, I'm going to stick with Tampa. I think Arians will have them clicking a little bit this week and looking to rebound from what was a really close loss and really tough place to play in New Orleans. And I think they find a way to beat Kyle Allen, hand him his first loss, and give Cam Newton a big sigh of relief.
I'm also going with the Buccaneers this time. I picked against Panthers first couple games. I got them last week.
Love it.
But
I love it.
I'm going with the Bucs this time.
Awesome.
All right.
I like when my team has been an underdog. What are we in that game? We're favored by 2.
That's great.
Over under is
where's my
47 and a half.
Who the hell cares button?
Hey man, it's right here. Push it.
Right.
Pull it. Just pull it. You can get the finger.
That was the middle finger, everyone. For those of you who can't watch.
Yeah, I think that favored by 2 means a 2-point underdog in London.
Really?
They're on the metric system.
Well done, man. Actually, man, the favorite team is traditionally covered over there. Outside of the Chicago debacle that we saw last week. Oh, look at that. And this is what they're going to do.
Patriots defense with a touchdown.
Yeah, the guy I'm playing with is playing against it. Has the Patriots defense, which was the defense I drafted. Cut them prior to the season.
Dumbass.
Oh, well, I thought I was going to be able to pick them up, man. You know,
what?
I really did. I thought I was going to be able to pick them up, and I didn't realize they were going to go out and blast the Steelers like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I didn't think they were going to do anything crazy like only give up 3 points and have a touchdown. You know what I'm saying, on defense, and Cat picks it up, and rest is history, man. They've been the number one defense all year long, man. Sometimes I cut bait a little too quick, man.
So that
before
punt,
season starts.
Oh, I'm sorry. So that punt just now was not blocked. He kicked his own man in the back of his head.
No, the guy got pushed back about 8 feet into it.
That's what it was.
But I'm just saying, he
was
kicked him in the back of the head. It was good stuff. It was a defensive touchdown by
That's
the
a
rookie.
wild-looking fella that scored a touchdown.
That's the rookie.
The rookie.
Next game, Cincy at Baltimore. Rival game.
Yeah, man. I like Baltimore, man. I like them in a big
Well, they've
way.
been shaky lately, haven't they?
Well, they have on defense. I think they can still score.
I think even the offense is bogged down some. When teams start to bring pressure.
Well, they're going to get an opportunity to shape that up against this horrible defense. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be able to work out some of them kinks
I think so
this week.
too. I like them this
Cincinnati's
week.
defense is garbage.
It is.
Best.
I like them this week too, Nobles. I've just been disappointed in them lately.
Sure.
I mean, I guess we all just got some askew views of some teams when they were involved with the
Dolphins.
With the Dolphins.
Hey, week one, nonetheless, you know.
Yeah.
And
we just had no way of knowing that they were going to be that bad.
Right.
If you want to get right, play the Dolphins.
Hey,
Yeah.
man.
Or
I'll tell you
the
this,
Bengals.
man. I'll tell you this. I start on my fantasy team. I start the Texans generally, and they're a fine defense to start. I have no problem starting them. This week they play Kansas City. Our league we give up points for how many yards we give up. Well, I don't like them all that much. I cut my backup defense, which was on a bye, and picked up the Redskins defense.
And I'm starting the Washington Redskins as well.
I mean, I think it's a good defense to play.
I'm in a must-win
You're playing
situation.
a team that doesn't want to win.
I'm in a must-win situation, man, and I'm looking for the ceiling on a play. You know what I mean? And I've got the 49ers defense who has performed. You know, so like I said, when I made that cut of New England, I had another plan. I just didn't know the pay. I should have looked at the schedule a little closer.
Well, they always
you know what I mean?
finish in the top 5.
Well, who always finishes in the top
The
5?
Pats D. They looked terrible last year, and they finished in the top 5.
I don't know if that's true.
They looked terrible last year.
Well, so they didn't finish in the top 5 in fantasy then. Anyway, over to this game here, man. We're talking about the Ravens at home against the Bengals, man. And, you know, I like Andy Dalton's receivers fantasy-wise because I believe they're going to be playing from behind. Joe Mixon hadn't really been getting it done. So Alden Tate, I think, is another good play this week, man.
Yeah, you got to really like Mark Ingram.
Well, you really got to like Mark Ingram, seeing that this is one of the worst rush defenses in the league.
And the offense doesn't scare you enough to where you really feel like you have to maximize every drive. We can pound them, you know.
Right. I think they're like the number 27, 28th rush D.
Yeah,
they're down there.
Yeah, they're not.
And
good.
Mark Ingram should eat. So should Lamar Jackson, you know. So I really like a lot going on the Ravens side of the ball. The over-under is 48. I don't see a whole lot of scoring from both teams. I think it'll be one-sided, and Bengals should take it.
The Bengals should take it.
I'm sorry. The Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals will take it.
Oh,
let me
take it on the chin.
They will take it.
Oh, I got you.
They'll take it however Baltimore wants to give it to them is how they'll take it.
Okay.
On the chin and they'll take it.
That's a clean sweep. I'm going with the Ravens as well. And to follow up, in PPR or standard, the Pats finished 4th last year in overall defense.
Okay, how many fantasy points did they get?
Overall, it was 135. Third place was 146, 150, and 187 for the Bears.
The Bears was at 187, and the Pats were at what?
135.
Okay.
They were 3 points ahead of the Ravens at 132 at 5th place.
That was a huge drop off in that year in defense, huh? 187 down to the 140s.
Yep. It was the Bears, Rams, Texans, Pats, Ravens, top 5. And actually, this is surprising. The Chiefs were 6. That is, wow. I know, right? Sounds crazy. They finished strong. The Pats were terrible at the beginning of last year.
Well, they scored touchdowns.
Yeah. That's what happens, you know. So it just all depends on how your league scores. My league scores for yards. Traditionally in most standard leagues, you're not my league rewards a lot, but it also takes a lot from the defense. So, it's just a unique scoring system that we have. Longer field goals give you more points, and you also lose points if you miss them. So,
all right. So let's move along.
Next game. Let's see here.
Seahawks.
Seattle at Cleveland.
All right, Penn. I like the Hawks, man. These two teams don't play much. Once every 4 or 5 years or so, 3-4 years I should say. But when they do, the Browns have actually won. But again, you have to go back to like 2007. I think clearly since 2011, the last time these two teams played, we've seen who the better franchise is, and I just don't have any reason to believe that on again, off again thing is going to end with Cleveland. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a show.
The Seahawks are a good team, led by a good quarterback who has a great young talented receiver in Lockett. Lockett is that guy. Wasn't really confident with that offense coming into the season, but man, I like the Seahawks, man. They get it done
on the road. I'll take Seattle too. Cleveland's allowed the third most rushing yards this season, and Chris Carson got it going last week and in recent weeks. And I think that'll be the difference here. Allow Wilson to control the clock and the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the circus rolls to the next city in Cleveland. And we'll see how crazy it gets.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, fantasy implications here, man. Disley Magic again, man. Top 5 tight end performance. I think Baker, if you're thinking about playing Baker Mayfield, you want to do so this week. He's not been good, man, at all.
He hasn't. And neither is Beckham.
And neither has Beckham. Beckham is averaging 67 yards a game. He's only had one score in 5 weeks. That's not going to get it done as your solidified number one. So, again, it's hard to sit those guys because depending on if you're doing a redraft league or whatnot, man, you might have committed early to
a
Beckham,
lot of times guys like that you're sort of tied to.
Right. But in a redraft league, sometimes it's okay to cut bait on those first round, second round, third round pick, man, and go for a guy who's just going to give you average consistent production instead of looking for that boom.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Consistency wins more so than having luck, because luck doesn't strike much, man. Then that's a first. That's a first of this of the season type strategy. You know what I mean? Hope ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? I hope somebody blow up. You're not gonna win many championships hoping.
No,
it's definitely better to be good than lucky.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So who you like?
All you can do in fantasy football, I've thought for years, and I still think it. All you can do is put the team out there that's favored to win. If you take all the experts' picks and meld them together into one average, if you've got the team that should win, then you've done your job. What else can you do?
Right.
I mean, I put a team out there that's favored by 20 this week. Now I might lose by 40, but I feel like I did my job. My team, I was supposed to win.
Right.
That's as much control as you have over it in this particular game.
That's it, man. It is fantasy, man. But again, it is helpful though to kind of have your eye on some trends and look for things and try to find those. Every year, man, there's always guys that are produced. You know what I'm saying? There's always a guy that
out of nowhere.
Right. Week 4, week 5, week 6. And those are players that can slide in for when one of those first round players that you have or second round players or third round players aren't working out. There's a ton of guys that follow in that category that aren't doing well. Damian Williams. I mean, I think he was 24th through like 35th on most draft boards, So, and he ain't worth 2 flies,
No, yeah, he ain't been too good.
So, yeah, man. Anyway, Stat, what you feel on that game, boss?
I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going with the Browns. The time I did not pick them is the game they won versus the...
So that's why you're picking them.
They won on the road.
They're like, he's betting on they're going to show me.
They won on the road against the Ravens. It was impressive.
Gotcha.
And I think they could play like that. They just need to do so. Now, that's just part of being the Browns, potentially. But I'm gonna go with the Browns. They're at home, and we'll see what they got.
All right. Interesting.
And I want to throw out a crazy stat. The Pats have 11 interceptions. We were talking. Oh, here we go.
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
We're supposed to be talking about the Seattle Seahawks.
We were talking about last year's stats. and you said that's why the
England
Chiefs.
G, you know?
That's why the Chiefs had finished sixth this year. The Pats have 11 interceptions, 12 after starting off this game. We have one already. The second closest team has only got 7.
Pat Stat G, ladies and gentlemen. Pat Stat G.
You know it. Next game, the Saints at the Jaguars.
Oh, you liking this game here, Penn?
Man, I'm going to go with Jacksonville at home. They're top 10 for the season in passing and rushing yards, while, the Saints have failed to throw for 200 yards in both of their last 2 home games, or two road games, I mean. And so Jacksonville at home, I'm going that way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like Jacksonville, man. I was talking to Brother Jay, man, in the last segment on Blurred Line, man. He brought up a great point, man. It's going to be 94 degrees in Jacksonville, and the Saints are in there way black.
Ouch. Good God.
And it's going to be humid as hell.
So, he was talking about, taking that point there and running with it. Isn't that crazy? That's a fun fact, right? I mean, when you're hot, you're mad. You know what I mean? You're liable to blank on your coach. You know what I mean? Coach tells you something that you don't want to hear and you're hot. You know what I mean? And he says it to you wrong and you snap, and it messes up all this sideline chemistry. But I like Jacksonville, man. I like what Minshew has been doing. I like what he can do. Last week, he was the number 4 quarterback, throwing up some really big numbers against my Panthers, man, a really good defense. And I know the Saints defense is good, but I think they've been better at home. And again, with what we just spoke about, man, I kind of like a lot of players there, man. I like DJ Chark to have a top 5 performance this week, man. I can see him in the end zone a couple times. I think his ceiling is about 22 points this week.
I think his ceiling is about $44 million.
Right. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed,
man. I think Fournette will have another solid day, man. This guy's proved that he's going to be a 90 to 110 and a touchdown guy this season, which, hey, man, in daily fantasy, I think you can still get a good deal on him. And obviously, last year or beginning of the year, there was questions coming for Fournette. I think he's earned his way into starting lineups without a question of any question,
No, he's a 1 now.
Yeah.
He always had that potential, and he's living up to it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And as always, I like our guy Mike T to have a pretty good week, man. I don't know if Bridgewater will go crazy like he did last week. Might want to try to find a starter somewhere else, but I do think that they'll keep the game competitive.
I do too. I think this game is one of the closer ones this week.
Mm-hmm. I'm going with the Saints.
All right.
I do really, really like Gardner Minshew, however, but I'm going with the Saints.
Oh, and one other guy, man, Jared Cook, man. I think he should fetch about 9 this week, man. So he has not lived up to what we thought he was going to do in that offense. But I think this week, if you're looking for a tight end outside of those few that are balling out of control, he's a good one to play.
Houston at Kansas City.
Well, this is a marquee matchup. You got to like this one, man.
You got to love
prime
this
time.
Fantasy fun for all.
No question, man. My only question really is Mahomes okay? I mean, that's the biggest question for me. I'm going to go because of that. I'm going to go with Houston because I don't know. And even when he came back into the game, he wasn't the same guy. Mm-hmm. He didn't have the mobility. He wasn't the same. If it weren't for that, then I would probably go Kansas City. But I'm gonna stick with that. And also, I think that the under is a good bet in this game, as Houston's gone under in 6 out of the last 7 games against AFC teams.
Okay.
And so I think you got to kind of like that, and this game should have a lot of points. I say you start all the usuals.
Okay, man. I disagree with you there, Penn, and that's why I love you, man, because we can do that and remain friends. I think you're out of your mind if you take the under on this game, man. It's got to be a shootout, man.
It doesn't have to be, man.
I think it got to be, man. We're looking at 2 teams that don't play defense well.
Kansas City, what did they score last week?
Shoot.
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. 13.
Yeah.
19-13, was that the score there? The week before that, though, they put up, 37 and didn't get one in passing. And I just think that offense of mine of Andy Reid is too good to be locked down. And from what I've read and what I've gathered, Mahomes is okay. One of the things that he has that, we have all forgotten about is youth, and we just saw what Saquon Barkley did in 10 days on a sprain. So and he's a competitor, man. So anyway, I like the Kansas City Chiefs, and I like those wideouts I've been so high out. And and Tariq Hill could play this week.
Oh, really?
So if Tariq Hill can play, I think that changes the dynamic of
So
what
who
they
do
can
you,
do.
like for more fantasy points, Mahomes or Watson?
Man, well,
That's a good one.
yeah, no, that's a good one, and I like both of these quarterbacks in this game to be,
Top 5.
yeah, 5, maybe right there, right outside of it. If we have a healthy Tyreek, I'm gonna go Pat Mahomes. If we don't, I'm gonna go. Oof, man, it's good. Deshaun Watson can add some yards there, man. Scrambling. I see like a 35, 31 game, maybe. So I think both quarterbacks can be good. I think I would go with Watson without Tyreek, slightly.
Right on.
But why do you have both of those guys, don't you? No, you don't. You have Murray.
Yeah.
Murray in it.
Yeah, and that was another thing I wanted to put up. I was going to bring up is we'll put up on Facebook. I'd like to have a poll because I'm not sure who to start this week. I've got Deshaun Watson, and he's playing on the road at Kansas City, and then I've got Kyler Murray, who's playing at home against Atlanta. And so I'm going to put a poll up on Facebook, and who should I start between those two guys, and whoever the Nobles and Pinhead listeners choose is who I'll go with.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, man, you're not in a bad situation though. But
I think it's a really good situation.
I think
in a league where we keep 6.
Right. Well, I think Atlanta is so bad that even if everybody picks Murray, you're still going to have a pretty decent ceiling there, as their defenses suck.
Yeah,
And
actually, CBS Sportsline, the website that we're on, they've got him projected at 23 and Watson at 21.
So let me tell you what I had. Let me pull up my notes here. I had Murray projected low end 23, his ceiling at 28. So I'm thinking worst case scenario, he's going to get you 23. And Watson,
he was big last week. Big.
Watson, I actually had Watson at 24, and I had Mahomes at around 25, 26. So I got them all right there, man.
Yeah, you do. They're all real close.
The hell is Stat over here tripping?
Yeah, he's doing something, man.
You're doing too much, man. Stay in your lane, man. We in your place, but still stay in your lane,
No kidding.
Hey, Stat, so who you like in the Kansas City Texans game, boss?
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. I disagree as well, but I would not take the under. But you said they might have scored 6 out of 7. They went under, but none of those 6 out of 7 were against the Chiefs.
Cool, man.
All right. Well, there's that.
Game, somebody's got...
Hey, Stat, real quick, let me interrupt you, man. In our haste, man, to get our picks in, man, we did not introduce our segment with Blurred Line, and I've had this piece queued up. So let's pause for the calls, man, and let's introduce Blurred Lines real quick. Hey, good morning, brother Jason. How we feeling? How you doing? How you been, bro?
What's happening, brother? It's good to talk to you again, as always. I appreciate you having me on the show again. It's the best part of my week, man. I'm loving it.
Well, we love to have you here, man. We appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule to get it in, man, and help our degenerate listeners out. Hopefully this week you can do a little bit better than last week, but hey, man, if it was that easy, everybody would do it, huh?
Exactly. They don't build those casinos for nothing out there. So 1-1-1. I'll take it for the week. I was able to snag Seattle -1 before the game, so I got a push on that. New Orleans. I really like the New Orleans pick, and they kind of pulled away at the end, which was nice. But yeah, so we'll try to get back on track this week and see what we can do. Some weird lines this week, some very confusing lines. Those always make me nervous. A lot of things that look very obvious, but there always seems to be something just below the surface that brings these lines down, and we're going to see if we can figure them out this week.
I got you, man. So, hey, where do you want to begin this week, man? You want to start by talking about your boys giving up 10 in the first, or you want to go straight to the NFL?
I was hoping we could avoid talking about that. That was a meltdown for the ages. And, Yeah, I was at work at the time, and it was very frustrating because didn't have any. I wasn't able to punch anything while I was on the clock. It was very frustrating. I had to walk away. I had to turn it off at one point. But yeah, the Braves let me down yesterday, and of course the Nationals took out the Dodgers, which makes the path to the World Series all that much easier. So I don't even know. Go Tampa, I guess at this point. I don't even know who to pull for. So maybe I just completely dive myself into football. So silver linings,
there
you
you
know.
go, Gotta love it. Gotta love it, man. Well, hey, man, I'll shut up and set the stage for you, man. Let's start with some blurred lines, man. What you got this week, man? What's hot?
So again, I'm liking the Thursday night game. New England and the Giants. Another big spread. New England opened at -14. That spread is all the way up to 17.
Dang. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley's out. They really, I don't know who they're going to have running the ball. I don't know who Daniel Jones is going to throw the ball to. I really hate laying this many points, but I just don't see how New England doesn't cover this spread. I think they're, primetime game. They're going to be throwing it all over. The only thing I'm worried about is a little backdoor score, or New England puts in their backup quarterback, which got me in some trouble earlier in the season because they gave up a backdoor cover against Miami. I still think this is easily a 31-10, 35-10 kind of game. I think Brady and Bell. I think Brady's caught a little criticism lately. People are thinking the age is catching up to him, and it very well may be. But I don't think it's going to affect him tonight. I really like the Patriots to cover this game tonight. Try to get the week started off with a win. I can give you all kinds of stats. Tom Brady is 239-73 as a starter. Patriots are 59-42 against the spread versus AFC opponents since Brady came in. And there's a good bit of money on New England, but not enough to scare me off. About 70% of the bets are on New England. I just normally you don't want to lay this many points, but this is a strange year in the NFL. A lot of just huge inflated lines, and these teams are covering them, and I like that to happen again tonight.
Yeah, 17 points, man. That's a lot of points, man.
That's a lot of
so
points.
You're definitely liking the Patriots to cover the spread and the over then in this thing.
Well, that's going to kind of depend on the Giants. The over-under right now is 42.5. It's actually come down from 46.5. So there might be a little value on the over, depending on if it's come down enough. If the Patriots put up 35, you're counting on the Giants to score a touchdown, and I'm a little wary of that, honestly. But yeah, I think if I had to pick, I would lean toward the over. I think it's going to be in that 35-10 range. It's not going to be a pretty Thursday night game.
Nah, I don't think so either, man. And when I was looking at this game, just trying to determine what players to play, obviously, you're going to go with your usual suspects from the home team, But I think there's going to be some garbage points to be had once they pull away, and late in the third, going into the fourth, I think this thing is going to be out of hand, and New England is going to try to rest some of their studs. I think they'll start pounding the ball, and I think it's going to give New York an opportunity to have better field position than they've seen in the first 2.5 quarters. And I can see them putting up, 6 to 9 points, a couple field goals, maybe 3 field goals, maybe a touchdown and a field goal. So that 6 to 10 feels kind of good, I should say. It says 6 to 9, 6 to 10. I can see New York doing that.
And obviously that's very, very possible. Just as long as New England puts up their 32 to 35, that I need them to cover this spread.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to have any problem because New York's defense hadn't stopped anyone.
No one.
So
They
man.
made Kirk Cousins look good last week, and that's hard to do.
Oh, poor Cousins, man. That guy, man.
Hey, but he got a guaranteed
right,
contract, so you can't fault the guy.
And you know me, man. I'll never say anything negative about a guy going out and get that money. So,
All right.
sir.
So
Yes,
next
sir.
next up, this one's a little out of the box, but I'm really liking. You and I have talked about it before. Baltimore is overrated. They had a great week one, threw the ball all over Miami, but I don't think everybody realized just how bad Miami was. And ever since then, they've struggled a little bit. They got a little backdoor cover against Kansas City. Other than that, they haven't covered any spreads this year. They struggled with Arizona. I like Cincinnati to keep it a little closer than the spread this week. The line opened at 8.5, spreads up to 11.5 now.
Yeah,
And I
that's what I'm
understand
seeing.
Cincinnati's horrible. We get that, but and on a normal week to week basis, they're unbettable. But this week, 11.5 is way too much for this Ravens team. Again, I think we talked about it before. A divisional matchup, maybe not as hotly contested as Baltimore and Cleveland, but still, Cincinnati's got a lot to prove. They are not tanking like Miami. They're winless, but they're not tanking, and they're going to come out and give an effort. I don't think they win this game, but I definitely think they keep it within 2 touchdowns, which with the spread sitting at 11.5, I'm kind of hoping it rises up to the 12-13 point range by kickoff, and I'd love to snatch that up. But even at 11.5, I'll take those points. I think their little young head coach is looking to show that he's not in over his head, which a lot of people are saying.
Okay.
The Ravens are coming off an overtime game against an arch rival. They've got Seattle next week, maybe looking ahead. So there's all the makings of a game a little closer than 11.5 points. So I like Cincinnati this week.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. I think the Ravens defense isn't the Ravens defense that we've all come to know to be, just the defense of the league. You know what I mean? They set the bar.
Right. You hear Ravens defense and you get scared. Name recognition alone will buy you a couple points in Vegas. But this is not your father's Ravens defense. This is not Ray Lewis. This is they can be porous at times. They can give up some points. Cleveland went up and down the field on them. So
yeah.
So they're not going to shut anybody out. So I think Cincinnati can keep this within the number.
Okay. All right, man. What do you think about that? The over under in that game.
So let's see here. Let me make sure my number's right. It opened at 48 and it stayed flat at 48. I usually when you've got a big number on the underdog, I like the under in matchups like that. I did not take Indy to win the game last week against Kansas City, but I did take the 10.5 points. And you saw what was the final on that 19-13, something like that.
Right.
Easily came in on the under. If these teams are going to cover the spread, they're normally going to do it with defense.
Right.
And not that Cincinnati's got a great defense either, but if they're going to keep this game close, you can't have Lamar Jackson throwing the ball all over the field. So if I had to pick, I would take the under in this. I'm thinking 21-17, 24-17 in that range, which would easily get it in the under range, but just to lean on that. But yeah, I could see the under hitting in that game.
Okay. So my parlay's set, man. I'm taking so far. We've got the G-men to cover. The Pats to cover that 17 point. I like the over in that game. And I don't trust the Bengals, man. Ever since Hard Knocks, man, screw those guys. So my parlay's set for the week. What else you got here, bud?
So another interesting line. You've got Kansas City opened as 8.5 point favorites against Houston. Kansas City's at home. This line has dropped all the way down to 4.5, and I get that. A little bit of an overreaction. We see that every week. Kansas City got beat on Sunday night by Indy. And Houston went out and put up 55 points against Atlanta. So a lot of people are saying, "Hey, Houston's good. Kansas City's not as good." I'm not ready to jump on that bandwagon yet, but but that line has come down enough to where we get some value on 4.5. I like 4.5. I didn't like 8.5, but I like 4.5. I can see Kansas City winning this game by a touchdown. Now their defense is banged up, but so is Houston. So I think Mahomes. has a little bit to prove, a little chip on his shoulder. It's only his second year, but he does not like to lose. I watched this kid play in college a lot. He does not like to lose. So I think he's ready to come back with a little vengeance this week. I'm a little surprised that the line has dropped this much, but apparently a lot of sharp money's come in on Houston, which I understand. Like I said, I would have grabbed 8.5 with Houston, but at 4.5, I'm gonna snatch up Kansas City.
Okay. So who do you like to win outright in that game?
I like the Chiefs to I like the Chiefs to win outright because they're gonna cover the.
They're gonna cover spread.
4.5 spread. Yeah.
Right.
But I'm thinking maybe in the 27-20 range is it may be you could get it could get a little bit higher, a little in that shootout range, maybe 31-24. But I do like the Chiefs to win by a touchdown. They're at home, coming off a loss, and Houston just ran up and down the field against Atlanta, probably feeling themselves a little bit.
What do you know about the ankle, man? How's Mahomes going to?
From everything I hear, he's fine. They're being precautionary about it. Obviously, that's this guy's got the potential to be the best quarterback ever, and they're not going to put him in any position where they could lose him for the season. But he keeps going out there. He's a competitor. I think he's fine. He may not run the ball as much as he might normally, but he can definitely sling that ball all over the field. And I really like him to throw 2 or 3 touchdowns this week. Get that offense rolling back on track.
Yeah, and they traditionally play really good at home. So no, I couldn't agree. I like Kansas City in that game. That over under is 55. Is that correct? Is that what it is?
55 it is. Yeah, it opened at 54, and it's only gone up a point. That's a lot of points.
It is.
Normally, when it's that high, I like the over, because if it's supposed to be that high, that things can get out of control, just like the Houston-Atlanta game, the Tampa Bay Rams game. Once you hit the over, it's going to fly past, and those games rarely come down to a 1 or 2 point margin on the over-under. It's either it goes way under, it goes way over, and I like to take the over on that. I like to root for offense. That's a fun way to play. I'm just that kind of scares me. I don't know that I trust Deshaun Watson enough to help boost that over, but I do trust Patty Mahomes. So.
Yeah, well, I do know it'd be fantasy fun for everybody in this game. If you got some guys here, you're looking at daily fantasy or something like that. I'm still in love with the young chief receivers out there. I know they've had a couple bad weeks, but that offense has played. Excuse me. A couple good defenses back to back, and then we talked about Mahomes' injury as of last week. So I agree with you, man. I think that team's gonna sharpen up the knives and go out, man, and cut it. And I think they're just gonna look great this week, man. I really like Kansas City.
And there is word that Tyreek Hill might play in this game. If Tyreek Hill comes back and plays in this game, that's why I'm almost ready to lock this in at 4.5. Because if it comes out that he goes from questionable to probable, I think that line might spike a little bit. I think if he comes back, that definitely adds another layer. They don't have that over-the-top deep threat as big as Tyreek Hill in his absence, but that would really open things up and really open up the run game a little bit, because lately they've been able to contain the run because they don't have that over-the-top deep threat. But if he comes back and he's 95% of Tyreek Hill, that's really going to, which is scary to say, but that could really open up that Kansas City offense.
One was a collarbone, so I really have to worry about, him losing any speed or toughness or anything. It takes 4 pounds of pressure to break a collarbone. I broke a kid's collarbone and popped Warner. No, seriously, you know what I mean? As a 11, 12-year-old kid, I broke someone's collarbone, so it's not a gruesome injury by any stretch of the imagination, man. It's just something that's easily palpable.
Yeah. And I think that's mental too. You don't want to get hit that way again. I think that would be the only concern I would have. But no, I think if he's ready to go and he can outstretch his arms and catch those balls, not that he really needs to, because Mahomes can kind of put it wherever he wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really like Kansas City especially if Tyreek Hill comes back. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Few small nuggets. Like I said, there's some weird lines out there. Jacksonville is favored by 1 point at home against New Orleans, and a lot of people look at that and say, "Man, New Orleans is a lot better than Jacksonville." You also got to think it's going to be 94 degrees in in Jacksonville, and New Orleans will be wearing their road blacks. It's going to be hot. New Orleans, they could wilt under the sun. They, excuse me, they obviously not as good on the road as they are at home. I know it sounds. I don't know if I'll bet it, but Jacksonville's an interesting play this week. They ran up against the I don't know the word buzzsaw of Carolina Panthers last week, and still put up a good number of points.
Right, had a chance to win the game.
Exactly. I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of a lean, but Jacksonville's an interesting play, and Seattle's only favored by 1.5 at Cleveland. I do kind of like
Cleveland.
this one.
That's weird, huh?
It is. And it's a little strange to me, which makes me wonder why is that. But Cleveland played on Monday night. They did not play well. They've got to go back across the country and play the early game on Sunday. Seattle's had 10 days to rest up and get ready for Cleveland. So I'm a little curious why this. Yeah. I'm a little curious why the spread is this low. I'm going to keep an eye on it, see what I can find out. But as of right now, Seattle seems like the play. I could be wrong, but I really do like them. And another one, and I almost wanted to make this my lock of the week. Washington is minus 3.5 against Miami. These are two horrible teams.
Yeah,
and people are saying, "Oh, this is going to be Miami's chance to win." I even mentioned it earlier in the season to you. There's going to be a week that Miami jumps up and wins. I'm sorry, but I don't see it this week. This spread should be 7-10. Washington just fired their coach, a coach that the players didn't like, and so they weren't playing hard for him. I feel like they're going to come out and play hard this week. They know that they can get this win, and something that people tend to overlook or just are in denial about. Miami is not trying to win. Miami is trying to lose games. So why would you bet on them to win games? So I really like Washington minus 3.5 this week. That's going to be the closest thing to my lock of the week, and for no other reason. I mean, I could, I think it's pointless to even break this game down. Miami is not trying. So.
I agree, man. I like Washington in that game, man. I actually was looking at that last night when I was going over my picks, and the conclusion I came to is, regardless who starts at quarterback for Washington, whether they start Haskins, which they're pretty much saying they're not, Colt McCoy or Case Keenum, you got three guys that want to start in this league, and all three of them want to try to showcase their talent against a team who, like you said, is not trying to win.
It's a scout team. It's a scout team.
Right. So Case Keenum has shown that, he can get it done and put up points for Washington. Even though they're not a good team, they have been able to score the ball. They've got some really good receiving talent that coming into the season, no one knew who was who. But Scary Terry has kind of made his way up to be a top-end number 2 receiver in fantasy. And Paul Richardson Jr. has been playing good as of late. Vernon Davis, the old man, has been balling out of control. So if they can figure out a way to run it, which this week I think they will be able to run the ball, 3.5 points, that's not a lot of points, man. I mean, I'm actually going to play Washington's defense this week in fantasy football.
I think that's a great
idea. Pick them
idea.
up on waiver. Oh, man, I think it's going to be awesome.
Anytime you can go up against Miami, anytime you can play defense that's going against Miami's offense, play them.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game for the sole fact that Miami's not going to score.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The over-under is what Washington scores. 17.
So I think
I'll take it.
Yeah. So right. So I think that's probably a good pick 2 parlay. You take Washington and the under, and throw you a few bucks on that, man. That should be a fun game.
There's
so
your
yeah, man.
for the month, so.
There you go. There you go, man. So. All right, man. Any other nuggets you got, man, for us?
No, I think the late games are. I'm going to try to win my money early on Sunday. The late games scare me. I don't know what to make of San Fran. I was wrong on them last week. I thought Cleveland was going to romp them. I was dead wrong about that. Who knows what to make of Tennessee or Denver? Denver looks good last week, but hell, that was their first win. Tennessee looks great 1 week, and then they put up 7 against Buffalo. That's another thing. Shout out to you, man. You've been calling it all year. Buffalo is a solid football team. They are a good football team, and they might not be the flashiest team, but they are a good football team, and they're definitely the second best team in that division. They've got a really good shot at a playoff spot.
Oh, no doubt. They're not fun to watch, man, but they've got some talent on that team, man. I really, like I said, I've been saying this all along. I really like Josh there, man. And hell, what about the old man Frank Gore was still fucking – God, that guy's just got – I mean, he might be running the ball in 2025, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he just doesn't seem to be getting old, man. But they're doing everything right, you know.
Exactly. They've got the oldest running back core in football history. But yeah, it's amazing what he's doing at his age, and you got to give credit to that offensive line opening holes for him. Sean McDermott's done a great job up there. Then I was thinking they were just a little mini Panther team because they kept getting our cast offs. But man, he's really put together a nice little team up there, and I actually like them to make a run at a playoff spot this year.
They very well could, man. They very well could. I mean, as long as Mr. Allen just takes note from 2 weeks ago and slides instead of trying to
get down.
Right, get down. I mean, because he's managing the game pretty good. He's a serviceable quarterback in that offense. They don't need him to do a whole lot because their defense is just so good. Yeah. And they've been able to run the ball successfully. When Devin the Dude is out there, they're going to be able to turn it up a little bit. So I like Buffalo, man. I like Buffalo a lot. I've been picking them about every week. I think last week, or I picked them every week outside of the week they played New England.
But they even covered the spread in that game and made it a game toward the end. And New England won that game off of a defensive touchdown. So they held Tom Brady in check. That was an impressive performance. I was very impressed by that game.
Right. And I didn't like them to win there, man. Let me ask you one quick question here, man, before I get you off here. I got a couple things to go over with you real quick. The Cowboys, man, we've seen the Cowboys come out the gate firing, but they played 3 horrible teams. And the last couple games when they played steadily competition, they have not looked good. They've got the New York Jets at the New York Jets this week, and they are a 7-point favor.
They are. Sam Darnold is probable in that game. Yeah, he's supposed to come back and play. This is one of those 4:00 games. I don't think I'm going to touch it, but if I had to, I would take the Jets. I don't know if you saw this, but the Cowboys offensive coordinator, they figured out that he was using hand signals from his college days, and the last 2 weeks, the Packers and the Saints figured it out and have gone back and watched his college tape, and he was using the same hand signals he was using in college. And they figured out his hand signals. I get it the first time, but the fact that you didn't figure that out and you still used them again against Green Bay and Green Bay lit you up, that's just I think he's in a little bit over his head. Dallas, we said it a few weeks ago. Thought they were overrated. New Orleans exposed them, and then Green Bay did the same. They may win this game, but they're not going to win by a touchdown. I think 3 or 4 points is a good number if they win. But I could see Darnold coming back. He's had a month off. Yeah, he's been sick. But the only thing that New York team is pretty banged up and pretty pitiful all across the board. But Dallas isn't the juggernaut that we thought they were either, and they've been exposed a little bit. So I could see the Jets keeping this close within a touchdown.
Well, the Jets' defense is pretty good when they're not on the field the entire game. So if Sam Darnold can manage the game well enough with Le'Veon Bell just to keep them off the field, 65, 70% of the game, which they've been on the field a ton since he's been out, I think that this thing gets real interesting, man. Which leads me to another quick question, then we'll get up out of here, man. Obviously, we both look through our Carolina blue glasses when we watch football on Sunday. But is it safe to say that McCaffrey is the best back I mean, Ezekiel had that great campaign, but I think it's kind of like a Emmitt Smith versus Barry Sanders type deal there. And you obviously have your Le'Veon Bell, you have your Derrick Henry who's balling this year. You've got some ballers out of there. But man, this kid, man, I mean, what are your thoughts on this guy, man? I mean, it's a freaking amazing.
I mean, there are no
amazing
words.
What this guy's doing.
There are no words. I mean, and I'll take it a step further. Not only is he the best back in the league, but he's the MVP thus far of the league.
I agree.
Mahomes is great. Don't get me wrong, but he's had a couple of tough outings against the Colts and the Lions. And Russell Wilson has also looked good. I know a lot of people are throwing votes at Russell Wilson to this point in the season, which I totally agree with. But this guy is on pace to do. He's on pace. What is it? 2,700 yards from scrimmage. He's on pace for it to shatter the record. I mean, and obviously, it's going to take a lot of work to keep that up. But there's not anything that I've seen that shows me he's going to slow down other than an injury. There were some next gen stat videos where on a few of those plays last week, he was running 21 miles an hour, and within 0.6 seconds, it was a stutter step, and he had gone down to 5 miles an hour and then was back up to 17 miles an hour within 2 or 3 seconds. It's ridiculous. And that swim move he does where he goes toward the sideline, plants his leg, lets the defender fly past him, and then he takes back off down. He did that 2 or 3 times against the Jags this past week. And your jaw just hits the ground. I mean, it's amazing. His 80-something yard touchdown, he was completely untouched. Now that's a testament to our line, but it's also a testament to how fast this kid is. I mean, he outran every person in that secondary. It was just ridiculous. So MVP gets my vote right now. And I'm biased, but you can't argue with that. That's just
no, I can't either, man. That's kind of why I brought it up. You brought up that next gen stat, man. He hit 21.95, and up until Monday, that was the fastest time in the league this year. Mm-hmm. And Breida topped that with his run.
Yeah.
I think he went over 22.3 or something like that. So
but if he do it with a cutback that took him from 25 to 0 and then back to 22. So.
Right. So. But I mean, just super impressive stuff, man. And coming into this league, man, it was a big knock, man. Let's just call it what it is. A white running back in a league that predominantly has seen that position be mainly black. You know what I mean? And myself included was not overly excited about the position, not because of what he looked like. It was just because where he came from. The Pac-12, and you don't really get to see any of those ball games. You can see those highlights, and the competition out there is, I mean, God Almighty, is subpar.
Not a lot of defensive showdown. Not a lot of defensive battles out there. It's a lot of 45 to 42 games, and outrageous scores and stats being thrown up everywhere. So and I agree. Yeah, it was. My thing was his size. Like, could he be a between the tackles back? I mean, he could. He could do all these little trick plays and jet sweeps and things like that. But he's proven you give him the ball at the middle, he's going to drag guys 3 or 4 yards on every single play.
The kid won't go out of bounds, man, which I admire. I'm gonna get these extra 2-3, man. That grit, man. I mean, I just love 22, man. I mean, this guy has just. Wow, man. I mean, and, we watch the games every week up here at the tavern, man, on Sundays, man. You're ever down, I know you guys have a lot going on. You come in from afar, man. But anytime that kid touches the ball, the room explodes. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I mean, it's just super duper cool, man. And we've been having a great time up there. This week we'll be hanging out at 9:30. In the morning, we'll have brunch and then move over to Mimosas and Bloody Mary to watch the London game. And shouts out to my brother Chad and the Woods family. Hope you guys had a safe trip. They flew out yesterday.
That's awesome.
They head over. They head over there, man. So they should be there by now, man. And I think he's going to hit up the red light district. I'm playing. That's just what I would do. I'm living vicariously through my man. But nah, hopefully, man, he checks in with me, man, if he gets an opportunity, FaceTime or something like that, man. But he's super excited, man. He's got sideline passes or field passes or whatnot, so they get a chance to hang out before the game, man. So that'll be pretty dope. And moving forward, man, this year, a bunch of Panther fans were going to head down to Atlanta to see the Panthers play. That's been a bucket list thing of mine, to see the Panthers play outside of what used to be Ericsson Stadium. Sometimes I still say Ericsson Stadium, Bank of American Stadium. I've been to, God almighty, uncountless amount of games there, 70, 80 games there easily, and I could care less if I ever go back. So this year we're going to make it down to the A. Next year we're going to Nolan's. Then I think we're going to follow over to Tampa Bay because we have, direct flights out of Greensboro here. But, we're just going to continue that tradition, man, and see if we can knock out, a majority of the 30-something teams that we have in the league, man. So, but anyway, shouts out to the Tavern, man.
I'm hoping I can get down to Atlanta with you this year. That sounds like an awesome, fun trip, man. Yeah, man,
definitely, man. But anyway, brother, hey, listen, man, I'm going to let you get out of here. I know you got a busy day to get to, as do I. But just want to thank you again for your time, man. And in a couple weeks, guys, we're going to be doing our ACC preseason basketball review. Again, Jay's going to join us on that. And then we're also going to run a spinoff, man, starting up in a couple, 2-3 weeks, man, where we kind of do our take on the Overreaction Monday. So stay tuned for that. We'll have more gambling lines coming out for you guys, man. As always, Jay, man, it's a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. You do a great job with your preparation, man, and we really do appreciate you joining us, brother.
Man, I appreciate you having me on. It's a blast, and I love doing this, and I can't wait to do it every week. Tell the Pinhead I said what's up, and hey, go Panthers, man. Let's rock London.
Let's go Panthers. All right, man, you heard it here first, man. For JayP, this is your boy Nobles, man. Thanks for checking out Blurred Lines. Hey, Jay, we'll catch you next week, brother.
Good to talk to you, brother.
All right, folks. All right, man. Appreciate it again, Jay, as always.
Always
Thanks.
nice work.
Heck yeah, brother, man. So, hey, let's mosey on over. Stat, where we at, brother?
Washington and Miami. Somebody's got to win.
Ooh, man, I made notes for this, and I thought, am I wasting ink? Is this ink just being put down for nothing?
Shit.
Because that's terrible. It's an awful game. It seems like Washington still at least wants to win.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, every one of their quarterbacks has a reason to.
Right.
Colt McCoy obviously is always looking for a job, and so is Case Keenum. Let's not forget, a couple years removed from being almost in the NFC Championship. So that guy's definitely looking for a start, and so is the young Haskins. So I think there's something to play for on that side of the ball, which Miami has clearly illustrated that they don't just give a damn.
Right. I'm going against Miami every week, so Washington's no exception. But Miami, if you're out there listening, it's one of your chances. There aren't very many. This is one of your chances.
Yeah, man. So I actually like Case Keenum, man, as from my reports, he is going to be the starter of this game. I like him to drop about 24 points, man, which he has been doing pretty consistently when he's played, thanks to the help of Scary Terry and Vernon Davis, man. So some good plays there. I don't see any other.
I think you could start. I think you could start either defense.
Well, I mean, if you have to start one, definitely go with Washington, because I was able to pick them up on waivers.
Me too.
After our on free agency after our waiver period today. So
me too. I picked them up today.
So definitely a good play there, man. Stat. I like the under in this game, which is 41 points. I think all the scoring is going to be done from Washington. Stat, what you like, what?
I'm actually going with the Dolphins.
All right.
At home.
Lone Wolf in the house.
The breakthrough.
Yes, sir.
And do you have a reason for this?
Somebody's got to win it.
Okay, good. Fair enough.
They're at home.
Fair enough.
So, fun stat, real quick, before we move on, and I saw a clip on Twitter today, or yesterday rather, where you can get a ticket to about 8 events in Miami, and this game is one of the cheapest. It's below the zoo. It's below a lot of things, man. I should have printed that up to show you guys, man. But I'll retweet that if you want to find it on our Twitter page.
Oh, that's crazy, man. What sad times too. These are.
Yeah, man. So
both franchises, both are in just the doldrums, and you're talking about two historically great franchises.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat relevant, you know. But again, Miami has proven that they're tanking, man. I mean, they're not doing anything to try to win. At least the Redskins have fired their coach after the 0-5 start and looking to make moves in a better direction. I don't think anyone was feeling Gruden anyway, man. He's done nothing there since his tenure. What is he, 38%, 42, somewhere in that range, winning percentage. Not good.
I'm still not a fan of how Washington handles that. I don't think, to me, it's like leaving a job without another job to go to. If you had to know, he wasn't fired because of what he did last week.
No,
he was fired for an accumulation of bad plays, bad games over years. Yeah. And so, wouldn't you, if you're the brass in Washington, wouldn't you begin like a coaching search? And start to look and have some idea of who might want this job before you go ahead and just fire the guy? I don't think you handled it correctly. You got to have more foresight than that and see this coming.
And I don't think it's a very appealing job when you consider the owner, man. Dan Snyder, man, I'm sure he's a heck of a guy. I mean, I'd love to buy him a beer and pick his brain and let him help me, figure out how to make my first million. But as far as running his franchise, man, he had done a good job, and it might be time to give those reins over to a general manager coach, someone who can do multiple jobs and build that team in a system that they can win with and give them an opportunity to do so, like the San Francisco 49ers have done Shanahan. They've given him 3 years, and he had 2 bad years, and granted, he had some injuries and things of those sorts he couldn't handle, but they stuck in there and let the young man coach his team and build his program, and right now, we're talking about the 49ers being one of the best teams in the NFC. So, that's my take on what's going on there. Penn, I couldn't agree with you more. Why fire a man and you hadn't found a man who would take that job? Because it's a lot of pressure with that ownership.
Yeah, and to me, it sends the wrong message to fans. Like, you just did something that the average fan wouldn't do. Average fan wouldn't leave his job without another job.
Didn't they play the Patriots last week? Was that last week?
Yeah.
And Tom Brady and Belichick both made the statement that it was like playing a home game.
Yeah, it's sad.
And in Washington, I mean, dude, DC.
Oh, it was loud.
Dude, DC typically has a rowdy fan base, man. And when you alienate your fan base, man, I mean, then you're creating a whole nother problem with which is going to be free agency. Then you become the sore thumb of the league, and nobody wants to play in those teams where the culture isn't winning.
No, yeah.
And the fans don't support you. They boo you when you come out. Why would you want that?
Yeah, and they're quickly headed that way.
They are, man. They are. I put that market as tough as New York. It's a win now type deal. And Snyder, his best move historically recently was bringing Joe Gibbs. I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah, he just revisited the past.
Right. So.
And his record is 35-49, a .418.
So, all right. So I was like 38. Yeah. I knew it was right in there. I knew it wasn't great.
No,
I knew it wasn't winning.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No.
Hey, listen, I put this out to Dan Snyder, man. Listen, my fantasy team is taking some hiccups, but that's out of my control due to some bad luck,
Speaking of which,
the Giants look like they're about to tie this thing at 14. No, he's going to get called on a one. He got in. What a play. What a hustle play. Wow, I don't like this, man. I took the points, man.
And they just got their first passing touchdown against them a minute ago.
And I think this is going to be a problem that you guys are going to face moving forward against tougher defenses here, Stat, man, as you haven't been protecting Brady all that well.
Our O-line's banged up.
I understand, and Brady's 42. So,
trust me, I'm aware, but right now it's the O-line. I noticed that the last couple games he wasn't getting a lot of protection.
No, he's not, man. And Penn asked me last week, man, who's undefeated?
Pat Snyder.
Yeah, Father Time,
man. And
at
42, taking a blow like that, blindside blow, you know what I mean? At 42, that it can't feel good on Friday.
No, it doesn't feel good right this minute, I'm sure.
Probably not. It's going to be worse tomorrow, man.
All right, let's move along. What we got next?
Philly at Minnesota.
Oh, man. Well, we made the pick when we started this whole thing, and I'm going to stick with Philly. They're a beast against the run, and we all know how the Vikes look when they're not able to run the football.
Josh Gordon looked like he just got hurt. Sorry.
They've been pedestrian at best. I think you'd look for Philly to key on Dalvin Cook and to make the Vikes offense just look kind of average. And I like Philly. They're playing well lately, and I'm sticking with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Philly too. I think Philly likes playing as the underdog. That's that seems to be their mantra, right?
The whole city,
man, and they need this one to stay atop of the East. And Dallas has a tough game, and I think they know that this is a must-win for them.
Dallas,
yeah, they're playing the Jets.
Oh, I thought we were on.
No. I was saying I'm talking about Philly's mindset going into this game.
Oh, sorry.
It's a must-win for them. I know for a fact that Thielen missed practice today for an illness. So I'm just not real confident in Minnesota's quarterback play. There are a ton of quarterbacks that I would start over Kirk Cousins. Hell, I start Case Keenum over. And I'll mention several throughout these matchups here. I still like Wentz a lot, man. I think his ceiling is 25. I expect him to have a 20-point day. I think it's time to give up on Kyle Rudolph. If, again, you might want to look for more consistency at this time in your fantasy year and your season. Someone who's going to go out there and get you 6-7 points a game is better than trying to wait on Rudolph to do what he's done in the past. So anyway, my pick is the Eagles. Fantasy wise, I like Philly to put up more fantasy points. I like their defense actually in this game, and I like the under at 44.
All right, who you like, Stap?
I'm going with the Vikings.
Cool deal.
Wow. All right.
I've noticed I've picked a lot against you guys, and I definitely made mine earlier before you got here.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, one other fact, man, about going back to fantasy here. I think Stephon Diggs, man, if you're a Stephon Diggs holder in a fantasy league play, it's time to start looking for other options there. He hasn't done anything. He's on 95 rosters. He shouldn't be in one lineup. He's not happy there. They've shown that they're not utilizing him. I think that you can find a better play there. And Jordan Howard's a good play. Sorry about that.
You're good to go.
Go. You're good to go, brother.
Let's go to Arizona. The Falcons are coming to town.
What you think about that one, Noble?
Well, man, that's a good thing for Matt Ryan. The dark cloud has brought Arizona in. That defense isn't good. I expect a big day out of Austin Cooper, who's always a must start. I like Calvin Ridley this week. 15 to 17 points, been his ceiling 17. Johnson, he's always a great play. He's the number 10 back, 16-point low end there. I think Kyler Murray is a good start. We talked about that earlier. His ceiling, I think, is around 28. And if Christian Kirk is healthy, I expect them to have a breakout game, man, against this Atlanta's defense. But I like the Falcons, man, on the road.
Interesting. I like Arizona at home. I look for Kyler Murray and the Arizona offense to look really good. Atlanta seems to have almost no talent on defense.
I agree.
I mean, almost nothing. They can't rush the passer. They can't do really anything. And that brings me to something.
It's time for Pinhead's Dark Cloud of the Week.
Ah, yes, the dark cloud settling in. Well, earlier this evening, after I finished my extra spicy honey chicken at the China Palace, I opened up my fortune cookie. And I pulled the fortune cookie out, and the fortune cookie read as follows. It said exactly, "As the falcon falls, Arthur Blank calls." And I said, well, my goodness, I was stunned, and I immediately realized that this spelled the end of the days for Falcons head coach Dan Quinn. This was so specific and so poignant of a message that I would actually be surprised if Dan Quinn were the coach of the Atlanta Falcons next week, week 7. I think that this loss buries him. And the dark cloud inside of my otherwise delicious fortune cookie also agrees. And so that is the dark cloud for this week. And that being said, I'm going to have to go with Arizona. And I think you got to like them. I think you'd like them even more if David Johnson plays.
Well, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going with the Cards at home as well.
And I've been asked, Pinhead, man, to tell everybody that this week's Dark Cloud was brought to you by DES Solutions. If there's a dark cloud over your HVAC system, call DES and they'll make it right.
All right. Well, that was nice.
You got a fan out there, brother. All righty, man. Let's keep that thing choking.
My opinion, game of the week, Niners at Rams.
Oh, okay. That's who you like is the game of the week. Well, I like San Fran. The over-under in that game is 50.5. I think it's not going to be that high scoring. I think that the Rams, man, have kind of I think their identity of what we saw last year is gone.
It's a crisis.
Yeah, man. We see this annually from Super Bowl teams having that hangover, and I think that's exactly what they're experiencing. Gurley, he missed practice yesterday rather, which was Wednesday. We're doing this on Thursday with a thigh contusion. San Francisco has the number 4 offense, which shocked me too. They're running the ball extremely well, as we saw on Monday night, and Jimmy G is doing enough just to manage that offense. Their defense is number 2. So yeah. What else did I have there? Let's see. I think I like both of these backs. I'm sorry there, Pinhead. I like both of the backs on San Francisco's side. If I had to favor one, I'd favor Coleman, seeing that he's getting the majority of the work. I know Breida had that 80-yard scamper last week, but he only had 30 carries on his other 10, 30 yards on his other 10 carries. Excuse me there. And here's another fact for you. Kupp. I think he's the only consistent Ram receiver there. He's the number 3, which is worth the start. He's been averaging 19 points. I think it's safe to say he's going to get you 15 to 20 here. I think the time of the big plays is Cooks. It's kind of over. So if you've been waiting on that for a fantasy play, I wouldn't look for it here. I wouldn't have him in my roster. And the same thing goes for Woods. If you have to play Woods, I see his ceiling it's been, I don't know, around 11 and 12, man. So yeah, buddy.
Well, I also like the 49ers on the road. I think with Todd Gurley ailing and Goff continually throwing the ball to the other team, I think those are things that are all in San Francisco's favor right now. You got to believe, after watching that just demolition that they put on Cleveland, that Nick Bosa is going to force Goff into a few early throws. Yeah, and you know how that goes for Goff. I mean, if he
pick,
yeah, absolutely. And I really like San Francisco's defense because of that. I think that, like you said, the Super Bowl hangover will follow them in this game. I look for this to also be a really close game, though. If it went the other way, it wouldn't shock me at all. But I'm going with San Francisco on the road.
Yeah, man. And it's funny that you bring up Bosa, man. How good is that guy being?
Whoa, what you talking about?
God almighty.
Oh,
man.
he's something else, man. That kid, he just got that. He almost plays with a demonic possession.
Yeah.
It's like you beat him down, he's up. You beat him down, he's back up. He's back up. He's back up until you just can't. You get tired. And in the fourth quarter, he just wrecks shop. He's you don't get picked. What was he, second to pick in the draft?
I think you're
right. So there. I mean, that's what you're supposed to get there.
Right.
You can't. You don't really even pat the franchise on the back for a pick like that.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you're supposed to get a killer at number 2, but they damn sure did. Now we've seen a lot of teams miss.
We have.
So
Cleveland
continually miss, a swing and a miss. I mean, just all the time, man. But But so we're both on San Francisco. You going to go against us on this one too, man?
No, I'm going with the 49ers.
Oh man, this one's chalk.
Their defense, the running, the Rams are 7th overall in points allowed this year. So I just can't go against the Niners. They look too good. We'll see. This is a statement game. If they go out and dominate them in LA, that says a lot. That solidifies their undefeated record, because up until now the teams they've played, I think, are like 1-8, something like that.
Right,
So it's
right.
not. I mean, likewise with the Pats. So, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see this week. I
Right,
believe.
right. And I'll add to your point there, Stat, man. That defense, man, they're playing with this attitude that I like. They had Sherman mic'd up this week, man, and I think that's just like, I don't know, it's all theatrics, right? The way that they cut in, and what they show you, right? That's just
that guy's the smartest idiot I've ever seen.
Well, he's I mean, dude, he knows how to play games in people's heads, man, and he can back it up.
Well, that's about a damn terrible lie to say. I mean, that's an idiot lie. That's a lie that an idiot makes.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't shake my hand. Baker Mayfield wouldn't shake my hand. Dude, you're on TV. They got him. He shook your hand. He almost hugged you.
Well, it's one thing to tell. It's one thing to say it to your team, right? Like,
to say it to the media.
To say it to the media, that's where you become.
Well, he even had. He came out, just after that and said that he would apologize.
He did.
To Mayfield. Well, just why make that statement? If you're,
sure.
They like to trumpet his Stanford education and all that much. I don't know. I didn't see Maurice Clarett make a bold-faced lie like that.
Well, man, sometimes, man, when you're heading into a fight, man, you got to psych yourself up.
Well, I had a friend one time that told the worst lie I ever heard. We were in a van, and we were going to the park to play basketball, right? And we're going there, and my buddy, he's about 5'8", maybe, and he tells us all on the way there. He says, "Hey, you guys know I can dunk, right?" And I remember saying, dunk what?"
From Missouri,
and he said,
from Missouri.
he said, I can dunk a basketball. And I said, well, we're headed to the park right now to play basketball, right? And he's like, oh, yeah. And we get there, and of course you can't dunk the damn thing. And I'm thinking, well, what a shit lie. What a terrible lie. And it was
5'8".
Yeah, I know you can't dunk, man. What you tell me? They got a little bitty woman hands. You can't hold the ball. There's no way. And so up until now, that was the dumbest lie I'd ever heard. But I think this one might be worse because, he didn't know.
Blatant.
Yeah, there were cameras on you and stuff.
I hear you. I hear exactly what you're saying, but I think sometimes when you're getting into a fight, man, you say whatever you got to say to hype yourself up, man. And in this game, man, that's what you got to do, man. You're not only playing for entertainment, but you are playing for your livelihood. And you're on a Monday night stage. On a Monday night stage, let's get my team hype. It worked because they look great. That's a touchdown. So,
but he said this after the game. So
I'm just tired of giving him. I'm tired of giving that particular player a pass because he is a Stanford guy and he has this IQ that is all this. Like he continually makes idiot statements and does stupid shit.
So is it reasonable? Can we agree that maybe when he came off the field because he was so hyped, because he did shake his hand at first, then they went through the whole procedure. They flipped the coin. The Browns won, which I don't know. There's probably 30, 45 seconds there, and he runs off the field. And he's like, man, maybe he didn't remember shaking his hand, honestly, for a second there. For a second. And when he ran off the field, he was like, that motherfucker didn't shake my hand.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, you're in front of 80,000
I don't know. If it means that much to you, it seems like you'd remember it. Well, I mean, if it means that much to you.
Touche. But again, like I said, man, I don't know. I'm riding with Sherman, hyping his team up. They went out there, he backed it up, and then he said he apologized to the man. But he is the smartest idiot I've ever seen. Not just because of that, because a lot of things that he did.
Right.
That just adds to the
I believe the guy really is intelligent. I from all accounts, I don't know Richard Sherman. Never met him. I've seen a bunch of interviews with him.
Y'all never hung out?
No, man.
Never smoked?
No, not yet. I would. I think we'd have a good time. But he, I don't know. He just does things where it seems like he gets a pass because he's intelligent. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the sneaky fast white guy.
Adam Thielen.
It's the Stanford educated black man. I don't mean to go there, but I'm just saying he gets this pass because he's.
That's how I get into places. I'm the good looking black man. You know what I'm saying?
Look at this debonair gentleman.
That's it, man. That's it.
But I'm not trying to put it in race terms, but a lot of things, are perceived that way by the general public, and I just think it's kind of the sneaky, fast white guy and the well-educated, well-spoken black man. Like, well, what do you mean? He can talk?
He speaks English.
Right, whoa.
Very well.
That is something else,
Tiger speaks English.
So, all right, so what do we got on that game? Are we're all unanimous?
Yeah,
49.
All right, we're anonymous.
Anonymous. Tennessee at Denver.
I know you're interested in this game a lot, Nobles. What you got for this?
Well, man, I think this is actually gonna be a pretty good game, man. I like these type games, man, where it's kind of
They seem like the same team.
they kind of, you know what I mean? They'll
Don't
drag
they?
on each other. Yeah, they're kind of both tough teams. They both have tough identities.
They're teams that can fight each other in a 10-foot ring.
Right.
You know?
Right. I mean,
Bull in a China
I
shop.
like Tennessee to win the game. I like my guy Lindsey, man. I'm actually going to play him this week, man. He was the number 9 running back last week. I think that makes him good for about 19 this week. Henry is being consistent, but he's kind of settled. Here, excuse me.
Well, isn't Henry's sort of dependent on having that monster. He's sort of a modern day Marshawn Lynch. He's sort of dependent on having that monster run
Right.
in some game where he
Well,
just chucks 3 people and then scores,
Right.
and then has a fairly average game on top of that.
No, you're right. I mean, outside of week 1 where he dropped 30, he's had 16, 11, 11, and 13.
Which
So
is
he's
solid.
Which is solid. He's settled into the guy that I thought he was going to be.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
and again, I think, we kind of got a little excited week 1. He ran bananas and
Right,
he
but we
did it
know
so
who he
convincingly.
is.
But we know who he is now, which is okay.
He was.
Which is okay at this point of the season. You know who you got. I wouldn't expect anything different from him this week. Delaney Walker, I think he'll make a bounce back this week. But again, I think there's another player that has settled into his role. He came out, he had a couple big games, but hell, he's only had 2 catches rather in the last 2 games. So I like the Titans, their opinion.
Well, I want to agree with you on Philip Lindsay. He's looked really good lately, and I think he'll look good again in this matchup. Tennessee's run defense hasn't been any kind of steel trap or anything like that, so I'm going to take Denver at home. I'm not overly confident with this pick because the Titans have surprised me all year long, but much like my stubborn ass will continue to pick Tampa until they totally disappoint me. I'm going to continue to not believe in Tennessee, so I'm going to go with them Denver Broncos.
Right.
I'm on board with that.
So just real quick here, man. We're talking about Tampa. We just watched Tom Brady do the quarterback keeper.
Rob called that at the beginning of this game in the Fox pregame. He said, and Tom's going to get, he called it a little over the top one, but regardless, he got.
Sure. My whole point to that was when we were faced in that situation, we ran the sweep. And Tom Brady's 42. He runs a 7.8 40.
That's being generous.
I mean, he's one of the prettiest players in the game. Just a gorgeous human being.
He's no Jimmy G. Ask Dawn.
I mean, no, he's not. Ask Dawn. But I mean, he's not an athlete. And we had an athlete and we only needed maybe 6-8 inches for the first.
A half-leet? Do you think a half-leet could have gotten that?
I think a half-leet could have got that, man.
That's a great term. I thought that would have been
a
a
half-leet would be like a Steve Smith.
Newton.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he could be sitting in the room with us. You know what I mean? And
Tyrone Muggsy Bogues.
Right.
That's a half-leet.
That's a half-leet. Yes, sir. So anyway, man, it just shocked the hell out of me to see that Tom Brady continues to run the sneak, and we have one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the game, and we did.
Tom Brady is sneaky fast.
And that's what I think that's my point I'm trying to get at. Tom Brady is sneaky fast, and we did not run our athletic quarterback in the same situation, and we lost that game on Thursday night.
He is sneaky fast.
Like he's as big as 2 times.
Oh, yeah, he's sneaky fast. I wish he were just a little more well-spoken.
So I'm also going with the Broncos at home.
Go ahead, that's that. I'm sorry to cut you off there, brother.
You're good.
We got off on the tangent on your boys.
Broncos, Titans, Broncos.
All
right, coming down to the wire. Let's see. We got Dallas at the Jets.
Well, I didn't make any notes for this game because I didn't think there was any need to do so. I did, man. I like Dallas to win. Dak showed us some flashes in the first 3 weeks. They played against lesser competition. He hadn't been great, but he's been serviceable. So you're going to play the big 3 here, and you might even sneak in a Gallup in this matchup.
The Gallup poll.
Le'Veon Bell is about the only guy that you want to see on the other side of the ball. Dallas defense might be a good play because Sam Darnold's coming back. He hadn't been working with that team much. He is still 1 year removed from his rookie season. He's only played one game. So,
true enough.
So I like Dallas defense here a lot too.
All right. Well, I got to say, of all the players that I wouldn't want to be after last week, Luke Falk had to be number one, man. Sacked 9 times. And looking to get the start again this week against that Swiss cheese offensive line in front of him. Man, I mean, good 9. I'm sore thinking about 9 sacks. Good. I don't want to carry 9 sacks in from the grocery store, much less be knocked on my ass 9 times. That is just awful, man. I got to believe if the Jets can get Le'Veon Bell going against a defense that just last week made Aaron Jones look like Jim Brown.
He did.
Really. So I believe they can, and I think they'll keep this thing a little bit. I think they'll get a little bit closer than people think. But I'm still not willing to pick them. I'm going Dallas on the road, and I hate picking Dallas, as you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, without a quarterback, with the guy just getting sacked 9 times. Yeah, if he is mobile and fluid, then that just speaks to youth. Because I don't know anybody my age or hell your age who could be hit 9 times to the ground and feel fine. It seems like something would happen. Yeah, especially with the guys hitting him. It's not like a half elite hit you. You got like a double elite hitting you.
Right. So it's probably safe to say that Falk is probably the biggest Jets fan rooting for Darnold's return.
My God, yes, please stop kissing people and get back on the field.
Yeah, man.
Well, you know who else I was probably rooting for Darnold's return would be Darnold's girlfriend, because she hasn't had sugars in weeks. It's been weeks, man, and I feel for her. And next week I'll have her name for you, because he's not playing this week. So next week she'll be another week more frustrated. And I think if anybody needs a shout out, it will be Sam Darnold's kissless girlfriend.
Well done, Pinhead. Who you like over there?
So I'm rooting for the Jets, as I am any team who plays the Cowboys, but I have to pick the Cowboys.
I'm with you on that.
The Jets, stat-wise, have a little bit better defense, but not by much. Yeah, it'd be dumb not to go for the Cowboys. Go with the Cowboys.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think we're all three in agreement there, man. Cowboys are a touchdown favorite. I don't know if it'll be that close, man. Over-under is 43. I see the over in that game. I think maybe the Jets will put up, I don't know, they can score some points.
They should theoretically be able to run the ball.
Right. They should be around 17 points, which I think would be a pretty good enough day to start a Le'Veon Bell. But again, their receiving core has just been mangled and banged up, and the quarterback play has not looked great. You're right. The offensive line just isn't gelling. I don't know what the deal is. They brought Khalil there from Carolina, and I don't know why he came out of retirement to do that shit.
Yeah, man, what a gig.
Right.
Jeez, man, you could have stayed where you were and had a chance.
Right. I sit at home, man, and eat hot Cheetos and watch games on Sunday.
Right.
You know what I mean? That sounds like a better time than that crap, man. So, Jets, clean sweep?
No, I took Dallas.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
clean
man.
sweep to get their ass beat. Yeah.
You see, I appreciate the bailout right there, Stan. Thanks for the assist.
Yes, sir. All right. Last game on Sunday. Pitt at the Chargers.
Prime time.
Well, I like the Bolts.
I mean, how do you not? Who is the quarterback?
I can't remember his name.
Who? I think you like any team against a third-string quarterback.
Yeah.
Pretty much, unless it's the Dolphins. I think you like any team.
I think he's got a really cool story. I just don't remember what it was.
Well,
but it's really cool.
I bet. He probably really floated down a river one time and then slept in a tent.
It's a cool story, but I don't think it equates to fantasy points or a victory. You know what I mean? I've got a cool story. You don't want me at the helm of your team. So
don't the Chargers seem to lack some type of focus and toughness that they had last year?
They're lacking something.
They did. Last week, they looked smug almost.
I think it's the play of Phillip Rivers, man. And again, man, Father Time, man, is kind of showing his ugly face there. They should be able to pound the ball, though, this week. And with those two big, with that stable that they've got there with Eckler and Melvin, I mean, that alone right there should help Phillip Rivers out. enough to pull out this win.
Yeah, you would think. I did.
It's such a shame for players like for owners who have like a Keenan Allen, man, because I don't really see a breakout game for him here, even though it is against a pretty spotty defense.
Isn't that sort of like just a sad franchise though right now?
Yeah, both of them
I
kind
mean,
of are, right?
yeah, but the Chargers, man. I mean, geez, they're drawing. I think I saw the other day, and these numbers aren't right, so don't believe this, but it's close. But they're drawing somewhere around 18,000 fewer fans than the next lowest.
Yeah,
it's something insane. But this the attendance numbers.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think if Connor was like your guy coming into this year, man, and you drafted him, thinking maybe you took a flyer on a guy that you can get in, I don't know, in the early second round.
You still play Connor if you got him. I mean, you're kind of
I just think you're a little disappointed. I think you're just a little disappointed in the production that they're running.
You're disappointed in the way the season's gone.
Well, yeah.
I mean, once they lost Ben, then Connor becomes public enemy one.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the guy we look for.
Well,
we're not worried about Mason Randolph or Rudolph or whatever. Did you see him? I know what it is. Did you see when they took his his face mask off and they were leading him off the field and he was staring into blank space saying, "Good game, good game, good game."
He was out the moment he got hit.
Of course. But I'm talking about once they got him up and were walking him off the field.
Yeah.
He was saying, "Good game." Good game, and just staring straight ahead, and like, oh man, he doesn't know he's in La La Land, or what the boxers used to say. They put him on Queer Street,
right?
Yeah,
right. Do you know where you're at? January.
Yeah, right. I remember
78 degrees.
One of my favorite quotes ever was Larry Holmes. It just got knocked out by a guy, and I forget who it was, but at his press conference afterwards, they asked him something about did you see the punch coming that ended the fight? And Holmes leaned over into his microphone and he said, "I like eggs."
I know that's right, man. Well, when you're like 8% body fat, you gotta like them, but that's not the question, right?
So, Penn, who did you pick?
He hadn't picked yet. I've been talking, man. I just been rambling over here talking.
I'm taking the Chargers. I've been disappointed with them and all that, but I'm taking them. I like I said, I take any team other than the Dolphins this season against a third string quarterback, home or on the road. Period. If you can't beat a third string quarterback, you are pitiful.
Right.
And his name is Devlin Hodges.
Hodges, and they call him Duck.
He went 7 for 9.
He was He wasn't Division II. He was BCS. And he was like the all-time leading passer in the BCS, and he had a great resume for a BCS player.
And when he was like 12 or 13, he won a duck calling contest.
Right.
And they call him Duck.
I know.
That's his cool story.
I love that.
Stat, man.
I love that. We need more duck calling on this show.
So, who did you pick?
I'm going with the Bolts, man.
Okay.
I'm going with the Bolts. I think though, man, like I was talking about Connor, man, just one quick point on this guy, man. I think though, if you have him as an owner, obviously you're going to play him because you did spend high on him. I think this week right here is going to give you one of the better weeks you'll see from him this year because Hodges is being in the game and Tom is going to lean on him. So he should see more carries than he has all season long. Hopefully he hits 20 carries. And, he can do something with them. So, nothing else special in that game, though.
Last game, Monday night, Detroit.
Did you take the Chargers, too?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Good call. Absolutely. Detroit at Green Bay, Monday night.
Oh, this one was a close call for me.
Yeah.
It really was. I'm going to take the Packers because they're at home. There should be some points in this one, I would think. Maybe the 31-0 shellacking that the Lions put on them in Lambeau last year in the last week of the season will still resonate with some of these Packers, and they got enough pride to come out and fight. I would want to, and you got your leader back now, and I think you. I don't know. I just think that'll be a better deal for them this time.
Okay. Well, man, I'm going the other way, man. I'm going with Motor City, man. I like the Lions. I think their offense, the Lions, I like their offense. It looks really good to me. I like Matt Stafford this week. I think he's going to have a number 6, number 7 type quarterback performance this week. Carry on, keeps carrying on over the last 2 weeks. He's been seeing a steadily increase in his carries. Week 3, he had 20. Week 4, he had 26. So I can see just about the same there. I know he's going up against a good defense, but again, we're talking about opportunities for him.
One thing about that guy that I really wanted to mention, I thought was neat, I learned the other day about Kerryon Johnson, was that all his entire family, well, he has like a sister and a brother, and they're all named after luggage. And he was Kerryon. He's got a brother named Check-in and a sister named Travell. And it's really cool. I mean, it's like check in, travel, and carry on. Like, how cool, you know? His family, I think his mother was like a stewardess, a flight attendant. Sorry, ladies, I know it's flight attendant.
Right. She was on the Mile High a lot. she was a big flyer, frequent flyer there. Well, I see my guys. I see Carry On selling me in 17 points this week, man. On the other side of the ball, I like Aaron Rodgers. I think he should have a pretty good day against the number 27 defense. So I can see him putting up about 25, 26 fantasy points. Don't be fooled.
Matt Patricia's number 27 defense.
Don't be fooled by Jones's performance last week. I know, that it's showing that he's the number 4 running back, and he has found the end zone a lot this year, last week 4 times specifically, but he's only had 2 games over 100 yards, and those weren't against great defenses like what I think he's going to be seeing this week. So, man, I like the Lions in this game. I like the under at 47, and I like the Lions, man.
Who you like, Stat?
Packers at home, Aaron Rodgers. The Lions
Lone Wolf.
No, he picked the Packers.
No, I didn't.
He did.
I picked the Lions.
Pinhead picked them.
He did. I wouldn't say he did to you.
You were saying you were pointing at me.
I was.
No, I was saying
rewind the tape.
Just like Richard didn't shake his hand.
Right. No, we've got the tape. I picked Green Bay, man. I think that the 31-0 shellacking's going to resonate with them, and they're going to come out and play better.
I said I'm the lone wolf.
Oh, okay.
So y'all made me seem like an asshole in front of our friends here, man. That ain't cool.
Packers, I thought you said
you're still well spoken, Reg.
Yeah, man. Look, I was over here apologizing for nothing.
And
I was
sneaky
like,
fast.
man, I'm explaining to myself. I knew I was. When I'm right, I'm right. I told you so. Lone wolf, man.
I'm gonna go with the Packers also at home, and the byes this week: the Bills, the Bears, the Colts, and the Raiders.
All right, and I also wanted to say we are going to put that poll up. I need you guys to get in on that, man. We're going to have who does Pinhead start this week? Does he start Deshaun Watson? Does he start Kyler Murray? You guys let me know, and I'm going to go with what the outcome is. And so y'all don't let me down. Do the right thing, man. I know we got some smart listeners out there. We got a Donnie Ray McCone that listens to us every week. We've got a sweet Sally Simpson that listens to us every week. I just made her up, but she's probably out there. And I really want to thank our listeners, because if it wasn't for y'all, then we are wasting our breath.
And that's right, man. Appreciate that, Pinhead, man. Yeah, man. Well, sadly, guys, we've come to that point in the episode where we have to bring this thing to an end, man. I think we had a pretty good show, as always, a blast, man. Hey, thank you, Stat. Thank you, Pinhead. Good job out of both of you guys today. Appreciate all you guys do to make this happen, man. Also, don't forget to download our podcast, and most importantly, share it. Tell a friend. Help us grow this thing. We would like to get back over 100 downloads a week where we were once at. We know we had some miscues, and we're working to make a good production for you guys.
You guys
man.
Share us, man. If you shared us when we first came out, share us again. It's time.
That's right, man. Keep spreading the word. And also, you can find us on social media, Facebook, IG, Twitter. All of that stuff will be in the description.
Aren't we on YouTube now?
We are on the tube as well as iHeartRadio. So you can just Google search us, man, and we'll be around, man. We love to have more interaction with you guys. Again, we like to thank the Century Park Tavern for the support that they've given us. Come join us on Sunday. I'll be there for the majority of the day watching games, man, just having a couple cold ones.
I'd also like to say it on Saturday, the 26th of October. At the Century Park Tavern, my show that I'm so proud of, with Mr. Jesse Ray Carter opening up for the Hoot and Hollers, has got exactly 14 tickets left to sell. And so if I've been beating your door down and telling you, hey, you ought to get a ticket, it's not because I need to sell them. It's because I want you there. So go ahead and get your ticket or you'll be turned away.
That's right. And I was actually going to bring that up, Penn, but thanks for dropping that in, man. I was speaking on the tavern. They got great specials, great staff, man, and they got the Sunday tickets. So come check us out there, man.
And brunch this week. Brunch. If you need a place to watch the Panthers, very few places going to be open at 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
we're going to be open at 9 a.m.
There's going to be a Bloody Mary bar, tons of food. There'll be some
Bloody Mary bar. What else you folks need to hear? Get to the tavern.
There'll also be some breakfast meat alternatives for those that don't eat the swine like myself, man. So, man, well, hey, man, that's it, man. Thanks again. Join us next week where we'll try to make sense of what we did today. For all your fantasy needs, you can find us in those places. Stat, you got anything for everybody, man?
No, sir.
No, sir,
see you
man.
back next week.
All right, man. And
tabulate
Pinhead.
my victories.
I'm sorry. What you say? I'm sorry. You said no, and then you started talking.
Tabulate my victories next week.
Got you. You hold on to that second place tight. That's hey, Pin, man. You want to sign off here? You got anything else?
Yeah, man. I just want to say, you guys really, man, cross your fingers for Dan Quinn. This cloud was delivered to me in a damn fortune cookie. I mean, and it was clear. What would that mean to you if you read that? No, I didn't ask you when that went down. Did you remember what the fortune said? It said, when the falcon falls, Arthur Blank calls. And so I'm saying, like, it's clearly, Dan Quinn, I'm sure you're a great person with a lovely family, but I'm sure you're going to be an unemployed person soon. So gird your loins and make good investments. And then I'm signing off for the week.
So maybe he'll be free, not next episode, but the following one, and we can get him on.
We'll have him as a guest.
Right. We'll have
God almighty.
Yeah,
I'll have him work a Ouija board with me. It'll be awesome. I'll be like, who's the next coach to get fired? And it'll come across. It'll be like Jason Garrett. And we're like, oh hell, that's great.
Well, man, again, man, thanks everybody for supporting us, man, and please support, man. And for the Pinhead and Stat G, this is your boy Reggie Nobles saying the only time work comes before success is in the dictionary. Peace.
Cheers.
Yeah. Yeah. Weak of the strong, who got it going on? You're dead wrong. The weak of the strong, who got it going on? You're dead wrong. Relax and take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke. Throw you in a choke, gun smoke. Biggie smokes for mayor, the rap slayer, the hooker layer. Motherfucker, say your prayers. Hail Mary, full of grace. Smack the bitch in the face. Take her Gucci bag and a North Face off her back. Jap her if she act funny with the money. Oh, you got me mistaken, honey. I don't wanna rape ya. I just want the paper, the visa, capisha. I'm out like the vapors. Who's the one you call Mr. Macho? The head honcho, swift is like Kumacho. I got so much style, I should be down with the stylistics. Make up to break up. Niggas need to wake up. Smell the Indonesia. Beat you to a seizure. Then fuck your mom. Hit the skin to amnesia. She don't remember shit. Just the 2 hits. Her hitting the floor and me hitting the clits. Sucking on the tits. Had the hooker begging for the dick. And your mom's ain't ugly, love. My dick got rocked quick. I guess I was a combination of House of Pain and Bobby Brown. I was humping around and jumping around. After then I asked her who's the man. She said B.I.G. Then I bust in her E.Y.E. You're dead wrong. You got it going on. You're dead wrong. Yo, big, you're dead wrong. You got it going on. You're dead wrong. You're strong. You got it going on. You're dead wrong. Yo, big, you're dead wrong. You got it going on. You're dead wrong. When I get dusted, I like to spread the blood like mustard. Trust it, my hardcore rain leaves you rusted. Move over, Lucifer. I'm more ruthless. Leave you toothless. You kip it, I flip it. Tears don't affect me. I hit them with the tech. G disrespect me. My potency is deadly. I'm shooting babies, no ifs, ands, or maybes. Hit mummy in the tummy if the hooker plays a dummy. Slit the wrist, a little sis. After she sucked the dick, I stabbed her brother with the ice pick because he wanted me to fuck him from the back. But smalls don't get down like that. Found your father hiding in the room. Fucked him with the broom. Slid him down the back and threw salt in the wound. Who you think you're dealing with? Anybody step into my path is fucking feeling it. Hard hardcore, I got it sucked like a pussy. Stab you to your gushy, so please don't push me. I'm using rubber so they won't trace the semen. The black demon got the little hooker screaming. Because you know I love it young, fresh and green, with no hand between. Know what I mean? You got it going on. You're dead wrong. You're big, you're dead wrong. You got it going on. You're dead wrong. You got it going on. You're dead wrong. You're big, you're dead wrong. You got it going on.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you're dead wrong.
the several different levels, the devil worshiping horses heads, human sacrifices, cannibalism, candles and exorcism, animals having sex with them, camels, mammals and rabbits, but I don't get into that, I kick the habit, I just beat you to death with weapons that eat through the flesh, and I never eat you unless the fucking meat looks fresh. I got a lion in my pocket, I'm lying, I got a 9 in my pocket, and baby I'm just dying. The cock of me's ready for war, I'm ready for war, I got machetes and swords for any faggot that said he was raw. My Uzi's heavy as yours, yeah, you met me before. I just didn't have as large an arsenal of weapons before. Marshal, step in the door, I lay your head on the floor with your body spread on the bedspread. Red on the wall, red on the ceiling, red on the floor. Get a new whore, met on the second, red on the third, then she's dead on the fourth. I'm dead wrong.
You got it going on. You're dead wrong. You're big, you're dead wrong. You got it going on. You're dead wrong. You're dead wrong. You got it going on. You're dead wrong. Come on, you speaking the song. You got it going on. You're dead wrong. You're big, you're dead wrong. You got it going on. You're dead wrong.